Yeah, I got a little bit.
Do you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's low though.
I have nothing. I don't know if anyone can hear me.
Here we go.
Hello? You guys hear me? I can hear you, but it's very faint. It's very low.
No, we still got nothing up here, eh? There we go.
Hello.
I got it now.
I don't have anything right now. I got nothing.
So I'm good on mine.
Hello. Hello. I got nothing.
Yeah, I can't hear, buddy.
I got nothing. Still nothing, nada.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to E.J. Lajeunesse Field, brought to you by Honda. This is where the playoffs begin.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I got you a little now.
Beefeaters from London. Today's game will be broadcast live on we-tv.ca.
Nope.
Here are the officials for
I
today's
can
game.
sort of hear Joe now.
There's a little bit
Referee
there.
wearing number 4, John McDonald.
Hello?
Umpire
Check,
number 54, Chris Patton. Head linesman number 23, Neil DeBacher.
Check.
Line judge number
Nope.
15, Pat
I
McCreary.
got you.
You got me, I can't hear
Field
you.
judge number 9, Joe Cooper. The side judge number 73, John Dodson. And the other side judge is number 11, Trevor Hayes.
Do you want to flip for right now?
Is that what they want? I got nothing.
He can hear you guys, yes, you can't hear each other.
You can hear him?
You can hear him talking.
Okay, I can hear Joe.
Ladies and
but
gentlemen, please stand and remove your
Joe
caps.
can't hear me. I
National
can hear
anthem.
Joe.
I can hear you outside the headset,
Okay.
so.
Out there,
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me now? Check. Yeah, now I got him. All right.
Today's game is brought to you by Mr. Honda.
Welcome to Ontario Football Conference playoff action between the visiting London Beefeaters and the home Windsor, a.k.a. Fratmen. We're here at E.J. Lajeunesse High School for semifinal action in the Ontario Football Conference once again. And joining me today is Joe Malarnick, who's going to do the color analyst. Welcome, Joe.
Hello, buddy. How are we doing today?
Very well, thanks. And just as they get ready for the opening kickoff, what are your initial thoughts for this game?
Well, looking at the size of the benches, it looks like AKO definitely has the roster man advantage, and looking down the roster as well. The offensive and defensive line, I think you're going to see AKO with a huge advantage on not only numbers, but I think of quality. And I think that's where the game will be won today.
Okay, and now that we have a short in-game analysis right off the get-go, it looks like it's going to be the Fratmen with the opening kick as the referees take their spot on the field. The Beefeaters look like they're setting the return, and deep for the Beefeaters. Looks like that is number 33 and number 4 in those individuals. Number 33 is Mitchell Smiley, and number 4 for the Beefeaters is Shaquille Johnson.
Both those two individuals are very dangerous on any time they get their hands on the ball. You got to look out, make sure you're running your lanes. You have good terrain on the outside.
And as normal, for the Fratmen, the opening kick will be handled, as all kicking duties will be handled, by Clark Green, who's had an excellent year this year in all facets facets of the game are going to be needed because anything can happen in the playoffs. And as Coach LaChance alluded to earlier, beating a team 3 times is always difficult, and this is the 3rd meeting here in this conference season. Green with the opening kick. He drives it deep in the direction of Mitchell Smiley, who handles the ball, works up the right sideline, seems to have a little bit of a seam, exploits that seam, and is up the right sideline and has crossing midfield right now, and it looks like it's Clark Green's the only person who can force him out of bounds. And that is an excellent start for the visiting Beefeaters as they take it up the right sideline and into the Fratmen territory.
Yeah, great return by Smiley. Catches the ball cleanly, then gets outside the wedge, set up, and they got the ball into AKO territory. So for London, that's a great start.
The X factor is always going to be, for the Beefeaters, is going to be some early play, and we'll see if they can get something going off the backs of that special teams, as it's number 14, Blake Huggins, is the quarterback, and he looks to his left, and he throws over the top, and he looks like he's looking for his receiver, but it looks like it's Story there for the interception, and that is indeed the case as the ball is fumbled, but the Fratmen do fall back on it, and they take the opening shot, but they turn the ball over right off the get-go.
Yeah, they had an opportunity there. If he throws that ball to the outside, that gives Shaquille Johnson an opportunity to run for that ball. That ball hung up in the wind. I think that's what we're going to see today. A little bit of issue with this wind. It's kind of strong down on the field, and that ball hung up and gave Story enough time to get himself underneath it and made a great play on the ball.
And that's going to give the Fratmen their possession at their own. It looks like about just inside their own 10-yard line, and that's going to be a 1st and 10. As Austin Lumley, who's been exceptionally efficient this year, brings his crew to the line of scrimmage. Under center for the opening snap. Works his way off the left. That's Cody McCann, who finds a little bit of a seam, and that's a nice power run inside. A solid pick of about 8 yards.
Yeah, good start for AKO. You know, they're pinned deep in their own end after that interception to get a good first down run out of McCann. Brings up 2nd and short.
Yeah, and I know that's going to put a smile on the face of Matt Morency. I spoke to him before the game, and he says he's going to really rely on his offensive linemen to set that tone up front and allow them to force the Beefeaters to bring an extra man in the box to open up the receivers. So Lumley once again under center, McCann the deep tailback. He does get the ball off the left side, and he looks like he's stacked up, and it looks like he has just enough for the first down, as it looks like it's going to be spotted at the 20-yard line, and that's going to indeed be the case. 1st and 10 at the 20.
Yeah, good job by London on that play to get more hats around the football and limit that to a 2-yard carry, but it is good enough for a first down.
And the Fratmen at the 20 do indeed have the wind for this opening quarter. And again, it is Lumley under center. He has 2 receivers to each side. An I set. It's McCann off the right side on an inside ISO run. It looks like he's found a little bit of a seam, and he powers forward for another good first down run of about 7 yards.
Yeah, good initial block in point of attack by number 13, River. He's been able to spring McCann out for the good gain.
So that's going to bring up a 2nd down and 3 here for the home team, who must just love the idea of leaning on them early and picking up yards on first down, making 2nd and manageable. Once again, it's Renberg and McCann behind Lumley. Off tackle to the left. McCann powers his way forward after first contact, and he keeps powering his way forward, and he's still on his feet, and he picks up about 5 yards and gets the first down after initial contact was in the backfield.
Yeah, and that's what you're going to get with Cody McCann with the first down. First guy rarely will ever take him down. He's always going to fall forward for those extra yards.
And as some of you might recall in the previous broadcast, Cody McCann and Spencer Renberg, the starting backfield today, did play for me at the high school, and I mean, between the 2 of them, I think I gave them about 1,000 carries. I overused them maybe, as we have an injury on the field for the visitors. It looks like it is number 55, Matt Long, who is a defensive lineman. He is one of the veteran defensive linemen. I believe he's one of the overagers, and he's been around for some while, so they're looking at his right lower leg.
And that's just something that London cannot afford to lose in today's game. They're short man-wise on the offensive and defensive line, and take one out of there, that's really going to hamper their ability to contend in this game.
He doesn't look like he's in a tremendous amount of discomfort. However, they are paying special attention to that right ankle. And the wind is likely going to be a factor today. It is directional today, and it is in the favor of the Fratmen right now. So we'll see how that factors out. any specific keys other than the bigs that maybe London might want to work on today, Joe?
Well, it looks like, they tried in that very first play to try to get to Shaquille Johnson. He's a playmaker, so you want to get the ball into his hands as many times as possible, as many different ways as possible. So I think that's one thing we're going to see. And then we've already talked about on the AKO side, letting McCann carry the load most of the way.
And we have a 1st and 10, and in the backfield right now, and that is number 25 for the Fratmen, and that is Brandon Donkers, who led the league in rushing last year, and he follows the block this time of Cody McCann. We do have a first down, but we do have a flag on the play, and we're going to see what happens, because it looked like Donkers was driven right into the fence on the far side, and he picked up a good 16 yards on the play. We're waiting for the indication. We have a rough play indicated against the Beefeaters, so we're going to tack on 15 to the end of that run, and that's going to be a 1st and 10 as the ball is being marched all the way into the Beefeaters side of the field, and that's going to be at the 46-yard line.
Yeah, at the end of that play, I don't know if it was the Beefeater
Ball on
player
the
or the
46,
Donkers
first
that
down,
tried
AKO.
finishing that run all the way to the fence, and then the Linden player took a little exception to that and took a little swing at Donkers and resulted in that 50-yard penalty.
And as normal, Joe, usually it's the guy who retaliates who does get that call. So, once again, 1st and 10, Rumley under center, McCann at fullback, Donkers at tailback. Looks like a little counterplay, and Donkers gets bottled up at the line of scrimmage, maybe falls forward for a half yard, but very minimal gain on counter trade to Donkers.
Yeah, very good job by that London front, taking out that down block and clogging up that hole where Donkers had nowhere to go.
That's a look at Donkers leaving the field, and it looked like he was replaced by Revenberg. So we're going to bring up a 2nd down and about 9 yards. It could be closer to the 10. And as you see on our screen, that's number 83, Levi, as he just left Noel, who's now maybe the best player in this league, split out. Austin will definitely look for him. We have a play fake. He's looking over top right at him. He has him, but the wind is now taking that over the top of him, and that's going to bring up a 3rd down and long situation.
Yeah, good opportunity by Lumley taking a shot downfield.
Levi Noel, the intended receiver.
And Levi inside. He picked that ball, but that ball didn't sail. And we're going to see when the ball's headed that way, the ball's going to sail a little more. When the ball comes the other way, it's going to get caught up and shorten that throw a little bit. Good shot, though, downfield.
And that's going to bring out Clark Green and the rest of the crew to punt. Cody McCann also serves as the long center. So he'll snap it the 15 yards deep to Clark Green, who is going to try to pin these Beefeaters deep in their own end, as the Beefeaters appear to have a lot of people at the line of scrimmage with one lone back, and they are bringing it. Good blocking, a kick right to the corner, and this ball's all going to fall on the bounce, and it bounces in right into the runner's hands, and that's number 28 who's covered, and that is Hakeem Johnson, who maybe picks up about 7 yards, and it looks like ball's going to be spotted at around the 12-yard line.
Yeah, you know what? If he took up if he started 2 steps back, he would have been in the end zone when fielding that punt. And if he got it out just outside to at least the 1, it would have brought it up to the 20. But since he caught it basically on the goal line in the field of play, they scrimmage from where he went out of bounds.
So after an early special teams gap by the Fratmen coverage unit on the opening kick, this time they pin him deep, and you're going to have Huggins, who's now going to have a long field into the wind. He's in his shotgun, and he tries to get the Fratmen to jump, but it is number 4, and that looks like Shaquille Johnson, who's trying to get that extra jump. And you already mentioned he's one of their playmakers, so it's hard to hide yourself 7 yards down the field.
Yeah, as you mentioned, try to get AKO to jump, but he got his own players.
So they're going to move it back the 5 yards, and that's going to bring up a 1st and long situation, and that's something that absolutely unequivocally the Beefeaters can't afford to do. They're already stacked up against the number 1 team in the conference, against a solid defensive front, a veteran crew. And the ball is thrown, and it's completed, and that is Huggins to number 26, and that's Chuck Wall, who finds his way to about the 24-yard line, and that's going to give them a 1st down.
Yeah, nice play, getting the ball out early. First down. Receiver able to get it up for the 1st down. Gets them out of the hole.
And that's exactly it. Now they have some room to work, as Huggins brings 3 to his left. He isos one receiver out to his right. 2 in the backfield, and they hand the ball off, and that's number 30 who's stacked up in the backfield, and that is John Arbolito, who is the running back, the feature back for the Fratmen, and he's tackled by number 45 for Windsor, and that's Darren Cannell, and he's just been a monster the last half of the season.
Yeah, he's got off to a great start this season, rushing the quarterback and getting his number of sacks this year, but he's also done a great job against the run.
And that's going to bring up a 2nd down and 11 for the visitors.
2nd and 11.
Huggins brings out 3 to his right. He's looking right all the way, throws over the top high for his tall receiver, and that's number 84 coming down with the catch, David Inkansuma, and he goes up and gets it at the high point, and that is a good long throw into the field side and into the wind, and enough for a 1st down.
Yeah, nice play by Huggins, putting the ball where only his player can get it, and he went up and got it.
And that's going to set up the Beefeaters at their own 39-yard line with a 1st and 10. A balanced look from the Beefeaters. Stewart and Arbolito inside, fake to Arbolito, option set to fake to Stewart, and it's Arbolito who takes the option pitch from Huggins, and that looks like a solid 7-8 yard gain.
Yeah, and that's how London's going to have to be able to run against the ball against AKO, is a little more deception. If they try and line up and just pound the ball, they're not going to do well.
Yeah, that time it looked like they took advantage of Cannell's aggressiveness, and he was able to get himself all the way down the line of scrimmage to the fake as you come up with a 2nd down and 2 yards at the 47-yard line under center. Huggins looks like he hands the ball off to Stewart, who gets bumped in the backfield initially, driven backwards, and then bounces off of that, powers forward, and he looks like he is just across the yard to gain and at the 50-yard line, and that is indeed the case, and that's going to be a 1st down.
Yeah, good power run there by Stewart, bouncing off the first would-be tackler, getting enough for the 1st down.
As we get closer to the halfway point of this opening quarter, the Beefeaters are mounting a very good drive from their own 12-yard line. This started, and Huggins looks to his left, is under some massive pressure, and he is brought down immediately. Coach Morency dials up some heat, and that's number 6 for the Fratmen, Jake Nicoletti, with the sack, and he's Mr. Everything in terms of what he can do.
Yeah, he definitely sets a tone for the AKO defense, and on that play also was Darren Cornell, as we talked about earlier.
And that's going to set up a 2nd down and 16 for the Beefeaters, who so far have completed 2 2nd and longs already. Let's see if their fortunes continue. As Huggins brings his crew out, he has 2 by 2, 2 in the backfield. Looking left, stays to the left, throws the ball over the top, and it's Jake Nicoletti intercepting the ball, and he's working up the left sideline, and he looks like he has some room, but we have a couple flags on the play. That's likely going to be a block in the back, but the turnover will stand. You're probably going to see the Fratmen with a 1st and 10 from right around their own 40-yard line.
Yeah, exactly. It was a push in the back. I'm not sure who the AKO player was, and there's also another flag on the play. It looks to maybe objectionable conduct.
Yeah, and if that was, because it looked like the referee was looking in the direction of the bench of the Beefeaters, who might have been saying something, so if that's the case...
No, that looks like they're marching out against AKO.
Okay, it is the case. So 25 yards from the point of the block in the back. So rather than it being at the 40, you're going to see this probably closer to their own 25. The 29-yard line, it's going to be the 34-yard line, 1st and 10 for the home team. And early on, the Beefeaters have sort of held their own. They have been severely outscored by the Fratmen this year, something in the 70s to 13. And this year, when you play a team a 3rd time, at some point it's hard for you to keep stretching the gap because you don't know necessarily what you have to work on because you've had so much success.
And that's exactly right. And if you're London in this game, minus the 2 interceptions, they've done a pretty good job.
Lumley in the pistol, hands the ball off, Donkers off the left side. The ball is on the ground. It is still on the ground, and it appears to be fortunately recovered by the Fratmen, and they are going to maybe have a 1-yard gain on the play. I'm a little surprised that this early in the game, Donkers is handling the ball as much.
Yeah, he spent most of the year this year at the linebacker spot. So I know Coach LaChante's probably thinking, going into the playoffs, they want to have everything available to them. But it's been a tough go so far for Donkers.
So we got second down and about 8.5 yard lines. McCann leaves early. Austin Lumley takes a shotgun snap, looks to his left, looks over the top, has a receiver, and that looks like it's number 8, Nathan Leader, and it was just overthrown, and that's going to bring up a third down and punting situation.
Yeah, and took another shot on second and long, and the wind throwing against us with the wind, that ball's going to carry. So it looks like Lumley's going to have to a little adjustment to make those throws complete.
So after some early success on the ground, the Fratmen's offense has stalled a little bit. So you have McCann snapping to Clark Green. The Beefeaters once again have everyone at or near the line of scrimmage, only one return man. And we have some early movement, and we'll see who that movement is. It looked like the Beefeaters did jump across early, and did that induce the Fratmen to move? We'll have to wait for the official call.
It was tough to see from this side.
And the indication from Mr. McDonald is that it is an offside, so we had the defense move into the neutral zone and cross the line of scrimmage. It's still going to be third down.
And it looks like the AKO might be trying to go for this. It makes it third and short now as opposed to third and long.
Yeah, and good eyes right away. There was no hesitation, so the Fratmen sideline knew if they were going to be in a situation where it's third down and short. Technically not that short. It's still a full 3 yards here. A little bit of a gamble early in the game, Joe?
I think it will. London's come out and held their own, so you want to try and put a dagger into the heart and really show your dominance right now, and here's an opportunity for you to do that.
So with confidence in his defense, Coach LaChance brings out the offense, looks for the little shotgun, and actually snaps the ball. It's McCann who takes it from his up back position in the backfield, and there was a misexchange, and Lumley does scramble out the left side. Looks like he's short of the line of game. And is this a face mask that the flag is indicating? Because the Fratmen are going to dodge a huge break because it looked like the ball should have never been snapped.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to see if they can draw them off of offside, and the center snapped the ball.
And that is indeed the case. And while we are focused in on the officials, let's introduce them. As you saw on our screen wearing the white hat, number 4, John McDonald is the referee. Chris Patton, wearing number 54, is the umpire. Number 23, Neil DeBacker, is your head linesman. Pat McCreary is the line judge on the far side, wearing number 15. The field judge is Joe Cooper. Number 9, number 73, John Dodson, is the back judge. And Trevor Hayes is the side judge. And now the Fratmen are 1st and 10 in the Beefeater territory. They hand the ball off inside to McCann, and McCann powers his way forward for about a 14-yard gain. And that's the player who's led the team all year long on the ground. And I'm sure after that early fumble by Donkers, you're going to see a whole lot of McCann.
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely the cowbell back for AKO this year, and he's proven to be just that.
I'm not going to tell him you called him a cow wearing a bell. I know you know him very well, but that is indeed the case. He is the meat of their potatoes, if you will. And here we go. McCann leaves early. Donkers alone back in the backfield, hands the ball off to Donkers. Inside run, has a lot of room to work with. Great blocking from the offensive line, and it looks like it's close to another first down.
Yeah, good job by AKL. Good surge from their inside of their offensive line. And now if you're London and you give up a drive, a touchdown off of this, it's really going to be just a killer to their confidence, as they've done a great job so far in this first half, and that penalty gave AKL a new life.
So as the referees call for the chain crew to come in for a measurement, it is close. Donkers did leave the game. Revenberg came in. More of their power backfield now with McCann. Lumley's going to run over to the sideline and get some added instruction from Coach LaChance. But if you're the Beefeaters right now, you probably are going to be happy, despite the fact that you've turned the ball over a couple times, You're playing this quarter. It's 0-0, 4.5 minutes left in this opening quarter, and you are into the wind, and even though you've given up this first down here, you're holding your own right now against the clear number one, the clear favorite in the Ontario Football Conference, the Windsor AKO Fratmen.
Yeah, they've absolutely done a very good job, but you cannot commit the penalty that he did or the interceptions if they want to win this game. They're already down two turnovers, and the bulk of the penalties are against them. So they have to clean that up if they want to have any chance to win this game.
And again, you see McCann and Revenberg in the backfield. Lumley turns, hands the ball off to McCann on an inside zone running play. McCann bounces it and finds about 5 yards. Not a bad first down run.
Yeah, good job. Nice job by number 44, Emmanuel Payakubi, for the Beefeaters to come up and make that play after a gain of about 4 yards.
Very rarely do you see the first person take down Cody, and like you said, a very good tackle, because if he doesn't bring him down, probably goes for a few more. So we're going to have a second down and 6 yards here as we get under 4 minutes in this opening quarter with the wind for the home Fratmen. Donkers deep, Revenberg to his right, to Lumley's right. Lumley looks right, is taking a shot, actually pump fakes, starts to scramble outside, but this time is sacked, and that is number 40 and 44 for the Beefeaters, and that's Wasim Gayozel and Emmanuel Apikubi on the sack.
Yeah, Wasim, a Windsor boy, went to Kennedy Collegiate and off to school in London, playing for the Beefeaters. Interesting, it looked like Lumley was looking for Noel, and he was bracketed coverage with outside and inside coverage deep, and Lumley had nowhere to go with that ball and had to eat it.
And that is a third down and 17 as a result of the sack, almost a full 12-yard loss on the play. And now with the wind, it's going to bring out Clark Green, who's going to set his kicking puck down at the 44-yard line. The holder is number 12, and that for the Fratmen is Brandon Reum. Snap is good. Blocked, low driving kick, never had a chance to ride the wind, and again, the Beefeaters dodge another one with solid defense and special teams, and they're going to be set up with great field position.
Well, they've definitely come to play this game, and good on them. Now, AKO really they've got to pick up their pace a little bit. I think they've come into this game a little overconfident, having outscored London so far this year by 40, 50 points in the combined games. So they're going to have to pull up their bootstraps a little bit and realize that they're in a dogfight here.
Yeah, and you can oftentimes throw scores out when it's rivalry games. And that's indeed the case. London always plays these guys tough, and they're going to throw a quick little hitch. And that is indeed their favorite target receiver, who tries to hurdle. And number 4, Shaquille Johnson, picks up about 1.5 yards after his valiant effort to hurdle the Fratmen defense.
Yeah, Javier Buckley out there on the corner did a good job not allowing Johnson to get over top of him, and took him down for a modest gain of 2.
As we have a second down and 8, the Beefeaters with, as you see on the score timer, a minute 40 or so counting into the wind. Huggins sprints out to his right, sets his feet, tries to hit an over-the-top play, and it looks like it is defended successfully for the Fratmen. The ball falls incomplete, and I can't get a number, but I think that's number 32 for the Fratmen, with pretty good coverage.
Yeah, good thing at the very end he got his head turned around, because he was facing the receiver most of the way, and if you don't turn your head around, sometimes you get that pass interference call for face guarding, but at the very last second he'll be able to get his head around and make a play on the ball.
As the ready-to-play whistle is brought in, we're going to see the punting formation.
He's very close to the line of scrimmage here.
And that's number 2, Matt Wolf, who they're going to fake into it. But we had some early movement from the London side, and Cannell responded to it, so we're going to see who they're going to call, because clearly they were shifting into some sort of fake or misalignment, but we'll see who crossed or who initiated the movement?
Yeah, you know something was up with the punter only 9 yards from center. There's you usually stand about 14 yards for a punt. They were able to draw AKO offside. That'll bring up third down and short, and then we'll see if London still elects to kick or they want to bring their offense back out.
Yeah, at this point you would assume the Fratmen defense would now maybe be a little more prepared because they saw the shift. Maybe that wasn't really an advantage for the Beefeaters. Maybe they wanted to run their fake. But like you said, it is a third and short situation. Wolf is lined up relatively short. We'll see if they go into that shift. They do go into that shift. Snap it. They have some early movement. There is a flag on the play as it's a short kick, but that is caught on the right on the run by number 2 for the Fratmen, and that is Josh Wright. So important to catch the ball in the air, and he falls forward across the 50-yard line or just at the 50-yard line. The indication is an offside against the Beefeaters. I'm assuming that will be declined, and the Fratmen will have pretty good field position with maybe a couple plays with the wind.
Yeah, good job by Josh Wright getting that ball short and coming up and making a play, because that's a tough ball to handle up in the air when the wind is killing the ball the way it is.
Ball on the 50-yard line.
And that is indeed the case. It is a decline of the penalty. So for now, if you're the London sideline, you're still probably saying to yourself, we've made a bunch of critical mistakes in that you gave them a first down off a face mask. You've turned the ball over a couple times, yet you're still 0-0 and about to get the win for the balance of this half.
Yeah, I think if you're London, you're absolutely happy with the way the things have transpired so far.
Lumley looking to his right, checks back to his left, finds nothing, comes up and scrambles. Looks like he has an edge to set, and he does cross the midfield stripe, and he gets close to the 50-yard line, and it looks like from the far spot that is indeed a first down, and that is the indication. So Lumley goes through his read progressions, doesn't see anything, steps up into the pocket, which always helps your offensive lineman because your running lanes are usually under then out, and picks up a first down with his legs.
Yeah, good job by Lumley, and also good job by that London defensive back crew, be able to control and cover these speedy AKO receivers.
Lumley barking out signals to his backfield. Donker's early motion. Lumley looks right, tries to get it to Levi on a quick hitch, gets it to Levi, gets a block outside, and it's Levi who's jumping around, but it's the London Beefeater defense who's rallying hard, but Levi's still on his feet. And despite the effort of 4 or 5 Beefeaters, he still picks up 5 yards.
Yeah, it was a good play all the way around. It was open really early, and Noel was looking to try and break a play instead of just heading upfield and getting what's there. Then London was to be able to force him back, and they had an opportunity to limit that to about a yard gain, and Noel just kept fighting forward, and it was good for 6.
And that's number 13, and his name is Kevin Griffins for the visitors, who it looks like he's getting his right knee looked at by the trainer. And unlike earlier, this time it looks like he's in a little bit of discomfort, and now it's his left knee.
I think right there they're just checking to see the stability from the left to the right and see how if it's looser, if there's any structural damage to the knee.
Good point. So now the head coach looks like he's walking, so there is some concern. The home team will likely get one more despite the zeros on the clock. There was still time on the clock in this opening half, so you're going to probably get one more play.
Yeah, interesting. If you're going in, you have the wind right now. Do you want to try and take a shot with the wind, and knowing that you're going to go for it on third down, or do you just try and power ahead and get your first down?
And we're going to throw this for a commercial break while we have an injury timeout. Welcome back to EJ Lajeunesse High School for Ontario Football Conference semifinal action between the Windsor AKO Fratmen and the visiting London Beefeaters, as Austin Lumley on the last play of the opening quarter has a second down and 4 in Beefeater territory. takes a snap, looks left, hands the ball off Donkers. Donkers seems to have a left sideline with some speed, powers his way up and across the 40-yard line, close to the first down yard line.
Yeah, it looks like he should have enough for that first down. That'll make a 1st and 10 to start that second quarter into London territory.
So it looks like we're probably going to get one last measurement, and that is indeed the case. Your eyes look like they're pretty good. I would tend to agree with you. It looks like they just got it. However, we're going to let this work its way all the way across the field as the team switch ends. That was the last play of the opening quarter. Some early impressions from that first quarter as this measurement takes place.
When we talked about London many mistakes, but not being penalized for it. They're still 0-0 in this game full-heartedly, and they've done a great job of controlling their emotion and be able to come out and battle with this number 1 AKO team.
And if you are Coach LaChance, what do you say to your team after this opening quarter?
You know what, even though it's not gone the way you got to continue your course. You know, you're the number 1 team for a reason, and just continue to do what you do, and eventually that things will take care of themselves, and then you'll right the ship. No need to panic in any situation here.
Okay. Well, it looked like we have a first down, and the spot was narrowly a first down, but the indication has already come from the head referee. We have a first down for the Fratmen as they set up at the we set up for the 40. Yes, they finally got the chain gang all figured out. It is officially a first down.
First down, AKO.
Leader moves over to his right, trips, hands the ball off to McCann inside. McCann finds a nice little seam off his left guard, and that's big number 51 for the Fratmen. And that is Jacob Benson, and he is just an absolute load. He's been opening up holes for the Fratmen left side all year long.
Yeah, very good. He started up last year as a first-year player after coming from the Essex Ravens in the summertime, and he got it. As soon as he got into the lineup, he's made a big difference in their run game.
The young man doesn't say much, but he just plays angry. That's I like if you're an offensive lineman, as we were under center. Lumley turns around, hands the ball off to McCann, who makes a jump cut after getting a good block from his fullback and easily gains a first down.
Yeah, nice job by McCann getting up in that hole and getting up for the first down. 44 had his opportunity to stop that short of the first down, but you can't arm tackle Cody McCann.
And this time it's Donkers coming in and Revenberg out. Likely see McCann move to the fullback spot as the Fratmen set up at the Beefeaters 27-yard line, 27 and a half. First and 10.
First down, AKO.
Lumley under center once again. Oh, McCann slips. It looked like it was going to be a trap. However, it looked like because of the timing of the slip, Austin could not
and it's
get
turned
his
into interception.
balance. And then he throws it down the field, and like you said, it is the indication that it is an interception. So after a broken play and a slip, Austin makes a mistake, a pretty big mistake, despite giving the ball deep in their own territory. The Beefeaters dodge another bullet.
Yeah, that's a mistake definitely by Lumley. Usually if you miss the handoff, you just follow the ball back up into the hole where it was supposed to run. And, you know, when you try and throw a ball on a run play, typically your receiver's not going to be looking, and you're going to, a lot of times you'll get a lineman downfield on that. And just an ill-advised throw by Lumley on that play.
It did not look like trap pass because Levi Noel looked like he was engaging in blocking, so it did look like a broken running play as Huggins comes out and a balance set. Calls for the snap, looks left, throws quick hitch left, and that looks like it's number 84 who's made a couple catches now, and that is David Nkumsa, who picks up about half the distance, moving it up 5 yards, bringing up 2nd and 5.
Yeah, nice job by Huggins getting that ball out quickly to his receiver, giving him an opportunity to make a play. Good first down, good play for 5 yards.
So as we approach the 12-minute mark remaining in this opening half, the Beefeaters have the ball, 2nd down and 5. Score is 0-0. Huggins takes a snap, looks left, trying to take a shot over the top. Had a receiver, underthrew his receiver, and just outside the outstretched hands of number 17, Tyler Story.
Yeah, I had an opportunity there to hit at number 84. That ball was when 84 came out of his break. He wasn't sure where the ball was, couldn't locate it. But if he had an opportunity to take that to the house if he catches that ball cleanly.
So with the ensuing third down, the Beefeaters run out their punt team, and this time the Fratmen defense special teams unit has to be extremely cognizant of the fact that if they jump again, it'll likely reset the downs here.
Yeah, typically in this situation you might want to give up 2, but since he has the wind, I think you're going to see him punt the ball.
So we have that tight alignment once again. Receivers now spread out. Wolf Kate takes a snap, gets a high booming kick, riding a little bit of the wind, but it's Josh Wright who handles it, gets his footing. Levi Noel looks like he's setting the edge, and there is a big sideline to go, and it looks like Josh Wright has some room, and he's going to move it deep into the Beefeater territory, as the turnover does not appear to have cost the Fratmen whatsoever. The coverage just never got there. Maybe outkicked his coverage with that, Joe.
Well, they were on the short hash, and you kick the ball to the wide side of the field. That's always dangerous because you cannot have enough players on that side to stop that return. And as soon as Wright got his hands on that ball, he was at the wide side of the field, and there was no Beefeater player able to take him down until he gets inside the 20-yard line.
Great analysis there as we bring up a 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line. Lumley in the shotgun. Revenberg McCann with him. Hand the ball off left to McCann. McCann looks like he jumps back underneath inside the block and picks up a solid first down gain of almost 5 yards.
Yeah, good job by Wasim Goizel following that from the backside, able to stop McCann after a 5-yard carry. Looked like there might have been a little bit more there for Cody if Goizel doesn't make that play.
Now, one thing I did like to see there is a couple linemen were just sort of standing still. I think they got Cody off his track a little earlier than he might have wanted. Nonetheless, it brings up a 2nd down and more than manageable. 5 yards to go. Back under center. McCann deep. Straight ISO inside. McCann makes a jump cut, and it is number 44 making the tackle. Once again, stuffing it in the hole is Apia Kupi, who brings up a 3rd down and about 4.5 yards.
Yeah, that play, as opposed to the other time where he just tried to arm tackle Cody, he brought his entire body with him and wrapped him up and drove his feet, and that's what you need to do against a back of Cody McCann's caliber.
So into the wind with a strong leg kicker, which would have been about a, let's call it an 18-yard field goal attempt. The Fratmen opt to go for it on 3rd down. Under center. Off tackle left, and it's McCann who finds the seam, and a good running back, good blocking all around. He walked into the end zone.
Yeah, good play there by AKO. I think going for that on 3rd down is a little bit more confidence in their offense, but more, I think more so confidence in their defense, and that London hasn't been able to move the ball too much on them, especially running the football, so they decided that they would just take their opportunities and try and punch in for the touchdown.
Yeah, so we do have a score. It looks like the score is going to be enforced, but it looks like a costly penalty. It looks like it's against the Fratmen, and that'll go on the kickoff, which means the Fratmen are kicking into the wind as it stands, which means they're probably going to end up kicking from their own 30-yard line now, or 25, 35-yard line.
Will be enforced on the kickoff.
So it's Clark Green set to kick. Brandon Riem is his holder. Just over 10 minutes left in the opening half. Clark Green gets the ball up and through, extending or making the lead now 7-0. This is the first score of the game, which is a little surprising for this high-powered offense.
10:18 to go in the 2nd quarter.
Not too surprised that the Fratmen defense is held. We'd expect the defense to pitch a shutout because they've been very, very dominant this year, but a little surprising that the home Fratmen have only scored 7 points thus far.
Absolutely, and give full credit to the London defense, be able to and that's what happens when you see a team for the 3rd time in the same year. The opposite team's tendencies, what they'd like to do, and what you need to do to take those things away. And I think London's done a very good job so far in this first half.
So now after the objectionable conduct, the Fratmen are going to kick from their own 35-yard line. which is should set up the Beefeaters with some pretty good field position to try to respond to the opening touchdown of this game here at EJ Lazenege High School in semifinal football action between the visiting London Beefeaters and the home Windsor AKO Fratmen, as you see on our screen, nursing a 7-0 lead in the second quarter.
And again, you got Smiley and Johnson back deep for London, and both are dangerous returners, so AKO's got to be careful to run their lanes and be able to clog up these running lanes for those two returners.
Clark Reed set to kick. Kicks the ball off in the direction of Smiley, who handles it at about his own 35-yard line, finds an interior seam, exploits it, and picks it up as he crosses the 50-yard line to the 52-yard line. And as you indicated, they're both pretty talented, and that sets up the Beefeaters with excellent field position as they attempt to tie this football game.
Yeah, there wasn't very much tremendous blocking on that. He was just able to do that on his own on that short kick. He caught it on the run, and he passed many of his blockers before they engaged in the AKO coverage unit and got the ball up close to midfield.
As the wind seems to pick up a little bit more in the favor of the Beefeaters, we'll see if they can take advantage of some of the wind. As it's Huggins looking right, stays on his right, throws the out, and that ball is thrown short. We're going to see what this flag, there's a flag in the backfield. It's one of two plays. It's either a hold or illegal hands to the face. We'll find out what that indication is. We have a rough play against the indication, the Beefeaters.
And just what you meant, it was hands to the face against one of the offensive linemen.
There was actually two flags. I guess it looks like Mr. McCreary came in from the far sideline, so there was an offsides from the London team as well. So there's the offsides signal. That's going to be declined. They're going to take the roughing illegal hands to the face against them, and that's going to make it second down. The play can stand because it's an unnecessary roughness, so the incompletion will stand, and they're going to get the benefit of the down.
Holding penalty on London.
That is a costly penalty, Joe.
That's a terrible penalty to take with London, especially the yardage, but also the loss of down.
15-yard penalty.
Huggins looks left. We have flags on the play again, trying to take a shot up the left sideline, and that ball is thrown out of play and an incomplete pass after some real physical play on the far sideline.
Yeah, a lot of contact there by Buckley on the receiver. A lot of hand fighting. Good job by Pat McCreary on the sideline to let that go, as both players were engaged in that hand-to-hand combat. But we do have an offside against the AKO team. That'll give London a second opportunity to get this second and long.
All right, so as described by Mr. Malarnik, it is a 5-yard walk-off. We are going to have a second down and 20. So they're going to get another crack at it as we wind the clock with 9:40 and counting in the opening half. Second down and 10 at their own 42-yard line. 3 to Huggins left.
Second and 20.
He looks left, sets his feet, throws over the top, pretty much the exact same route combination, trying to challenge Josh Wright, and the ball is almost caught by Shaquille Johnson, and it falls so gently out of his hands and incomplete.
Yeah, he had that ball in his hands. As soon as he hit the ground, that's when the ball popped out. A little bit maybe Calvin Johnson there as he didn't finish the process of the catch. The ball bounces away harmlessly for AKO, and they bring up a third down and long, forcing a punt.
Yeah, if you're going to knock off the two-time champs and you're going to knock off the undefeated team on the road, you have to make that play. It's a tough play, and you saw him punch the ground. He was angry at himself, but you need that. So third down and 20. You have Wolf in. You have two dangerous return men in right and Levi Noel back. So he's going to have to pick his poison. So far, they've punted in the direction of right the entire time. I would suspect you're going to see the same thing as Wolf takes the snap. And it's a fake. He looks to bubble it up, and Tyler Story looks like he has a beat on it. They need a ton of yards to gain, and despite what happened...
Oh, no, they're going to penalty, it looks like, at the end of that.
Fake punt.
I think what you're going to see there is a penalty is a shot to the head. Not that it's a face mask of any sort. It's just that that when he made the tackle, they went too high into the head, and they're trying to take that out of the game. So, unfortunate circumstance for the AKO player, and London looks to be the recipient of a call here.
Yeah, and even though they were short of the yard to gain it, even if they did come close to it, if that major penalty walks it off, it's an automatic first down, so they're going to get the benefit of the 15 yards they got on the play, plus 15 more, and the Beefeaters are going to be set deep now into the Fratmen side as they're going to scrimmage from the 36.5-yard line.
Yeah, and if you're London here, you need to be able to capitalize on this, just as AKO was able to capitalize on their opportunity earlier in this quarter. And if they can come away with this any score, it's definitely puts them in good stead for the rest of this game.
So now we're going to blow the play in and resume action here as the Beefeaters now have new life after going for a fake, stop short, not a necessary roughness headshot is going to give them a chance as Blake Huggins takes the shotgun snap, hands the ball off inside to Stewart, who spins off a tackle and looks like he's going to pick up a good gain on first down, as it appears to be about a 7-yard gain.
Yeah, a very tough run by Stewart. He's a real big power back for London, and as much in the same vein as you can arm tackle Cody McCann, you can arm tackle Dwayne Stewart. He's a big load back there.
7. Second down.
I was going to bring up a second down and short as they inch closer to not only the first down but the Fratmen goal line, trying to tie the game with 8 minutes remaining in the opening half, and the Fratmen leading by the narrow margin of 7-0. 2-by-2, it's Wolf in the backfield, Huggins in the backfield. Inside to Stewart, who does the exact same move, spins off, but this time he's bottled up short of the 7 yards, but he did pick up maybe just enough to get a first down. We'll have to see on the spot.
Yeah, and that's the Stewart again, showing his a little bit of elusiveness, and he's showing that he's just not only a power back, but he's got some moves and a little bit of wiggle as well, able to get away from that first would-be tackler.
So they're calling for the captain from the Beefeaters, which I'm assuming he's going to tell them, look, we're just short. You're going to have a third down. We're not going to bring out the measurement, but we're going to tell you you need about a foot. Oh, he asked for it, and the captain wisely. If you're a captain, just ask for it. Give your sideline a chance to decide what personnel you want and what play you want to run.
Yeah, absolutely. In the Canadian game, it's only a player on the field that can ask for a measurement. It can't come from the side. It can't come from the coaches. It has to be a player on the field to call and ask the official for an official measurement.
As they pull the chains nice and tight, they're just short. And it is about the length of a football. So the eyes of the referee were in check there. Mr. McDonald did grant the request, which is fair enough. It was close enough for the measurement. But now the Fratmen also had time to set their goal line or short yardage defense here as we bring up a critical third down and a foot.
Yeah, I think you might see a hard count here as well. So if you're, you have to be disciplined and watch that football. And you don't want to, if you're in London, you don't want to jump outside either.
So the Beefeaters have a lot of people at or near the line of scrimmage. Huggins under center, powers forward, easily gets the first down. However, were they set? Because if they went on a silent count and we have another late flag in the middle of the pile, were they set? Okay, so they picked up the flag from the illegal alignment because they thought they didn't have an end, but a tight end did line up. But now we're going to see what the penalty is following the first down run. And it is another objectionable conduct against the Fratmen, which is going to move it the full distance, 15 more.
Yeah, I think that's a rough play somewhere in there.
Number 25, that's Brandon Donkers, who comes in and may have piled on late into the pile. Either way, you're going to see a 4 or 5 yard gain on the sneak plus 15 more, which is going to put the ball just inside the 10-yard line. And we have a first and goal with just under 7 minutes remaining in this opening half. Huggins takes the shotgun, looks left, throws over the middle, has an open receiver. Good defense there as the ball falls incomplete. That's Tyler Story knocking it away from number 26. Chuck Wall.
Yeah, very good job by Story on that. That ball looked like he was going to be in there for a touchdown for the Beefeaters, but Story was able to get his hand in at the last second and knock it away from the intended receiver.
Is this 3-down territory for sure, Joe?
I'm not so sure if right now, earlier outside of the field goal attempt range, it would have been, but I think now that, at 7-0, I think you need to get points out of this drive, and I don't think it's 3-down territories to go for the touchdown, no.
All right, Huggins once again has 2 in the backfield with him. Fakes inside, throws a little flare out to Stewart, who looks like he has about a 5-yard pickup, and nice gang tackle by a couple Fratmen led by number 6, Jake Nicoletti.
Well, now you get down to the 1. Now you rethink that a little bit, and if you want to go for it on 3rd and goal from the 1. Earlier, I think if you're outside the 5-yard line, no, you kick the field goal, but now that you're down inside the 1, I think now that London, sensing they have an opportunity to tie this game, they're going to go for it.
And no hesitation from the sideline. It's Huggins who comes into the huddle, and you're right, it is a 3rd down goal situation. They need very little. Let's see if they get under center here and try to wedge themselves forward. No, they remain in the shotgun. 3 to his left. Sprint out to his left, looks to set his feet and throw the ball, and it is caught, but it is caught short of the end zone. So a terrible throw, but maybe even a bad route because it didn't look like he ever got into the end zone.
Yeah, I think the throw was good because he threw it low and outside where only his player can get it, but he caught it short of the end zone. You got to get yourself deep into that end zone and come back to when you come back to make that catch, that you're still in the end zone. He caught the ball, but he came out to the 1-yard line.
And unfortunately, or maybe you don't know this, but until you're in the pros, once you're down, you're down. You don't need to be down by contact. So once he caught and gained possession, that was a completed pass for absolutely no gain. So the Fratmen now have the ball 1st and 10 from their own 1-yard line. And I suspect they're going to power here, but don't be surprised if they try to steal one and throw something quick to Levi. Plumlee in the shotgun, fakes inside, tries to go over the top, and that is indeed the person they're looking for, and they just miss.
Yeah, just like you talked about, they're taking their shot on 1st down. Good opportunity to take a shot. And I think going back to that last play, it was a little interesting to get another wrinkle in the Canadian game. He actually caught that ball at the 6-inch line, short of the yard. So actually, AKO ended up getting 18 inches on that because they bring it back out to the 1.
Yeah, they always give the 1. I never understood that. Well, they always tell me, well, you got to give a yard. Well, you can give a yard into the end zone if you have to. Either way, you're right. Anytime the ball's inside the 1, it goes back to the 1. And the Fratmen now have a 2nd and 10 from their own 1-yard line under center. We have a trap underneath, and it looks like Revenberg, who powers his way forward for about a 6-yard gain. And if they would have just picked up that inside linebacker, number 18, and that's Isaac Smith, he might have had a little more. But, yeah, I'm assuming this is a concession.
I would think so. You're kicking into the wind. You don't want to give them another short field, giving them an opportunity to get 7. It's okay to give up 2 here, and you're still a touchdown ahead on the scoreboard because there is no 5-point field goals.
So now the Fratmen, it seems like a little confusion because a couple players are coming out late. Either way, the Beefeaters seem to have a lot of guys at or near the line of scrimmage and only 1 man set deep to return, and that looks like it's number 28, Hakeem Johnson, deep. So they might be anticipating that maybe, just maybe, Clark Green is going to try to kick this. Snap comes in, he just remains on a knee, he concedes it, which is the right call. I don't think anyone in this country at any level would argue with that, at least at this junction in the game. Although you want the shutout, you need the win. That's the bottom line. That's going to bring the score with just over 4.5 minutes left in this opening half. The home Windsor AKO Fratmen lead the visiting London Beefeaters 7-2. An Ontario Football Conference semifinal action here on a gusty yet dry and relatively warm fall day in Windsor, Ontario.
Yeah, and I don't like this call from the London side, taking the ball at their own 35. After a conceded safety, they would force AKO to kick off from their own 35-yard line, and the way their kick return team was getting the ball out past midfield, you're shortening yourself 15, 20 yards here as to what you've shown in that first half.
I could not agree more with you. This is extremely puzzling. You just gave up a full length of the field and the opportunity maybe to even get more. Either way, we're in the booth, they're on the field. Huggins calls for the ball, hands the ball off to his primary back, and he is just ganged up in the backfield, and now they have a loss of yards as John Arbolito picks up 0-2.
And we're going to get an offside against London on that. I'm sure that'll be declined. That'll bring up second down and 12.
Joe, I am still puzzled. Any real good reason you can think of why they opted to scrimmage from the 35?
The only thing I can think is if they're worried about maybe an onside kick from AKO, but like you said it exactly. It's puzzling because their most dangerous weapon today has been their kickoff return.
Sure has. Now they put themselves in a second down and long situation, and if they're not careful and they give the Fratmen, all they need is one play because Fratmen have the speed and the personnel to bust one. Either way, we have second down and 12. Huggins calling for the shotgun snap, looks left, stays left, throwing over the top. Looks like he has a receiver, and in this case scenario goes right through his hands. And there was no contact there, but he's thinking there's pass interference. But that's just Josh Wright flashing his hands there. And we have a flag, and it looks like we're going to get a flag on the bench after the play, which is just going to compound everything for the Beefeaters.
Yeah, I think the only call that you may have called on that was face guarding, because on that play again, he never got his head turned around to make a play on the ball and put his hands in front of the receiver's face. So there's an opportunity that maybe that could have been called, but it was a no call. So you live to play another down, but now you put yourself in a deeper hole by taking that penalty.
Absolutely, and you never. Just if you put it into this perspective, you never want to let it go on the way of the referee. Like, just play the game, don't say anything to them, and give them an opportunity to push you back even further. And that's the bench. And it looked like a player came screaming off and threw his helmet, and I'm not sure if that's what they called or a coach, but somebody on the bench objected to the call, and now the Beefeaters are going to have a super long situation in third down and 22. And you got two dangerous return men who have been already an impact in the game, setting up the first touchdown. Oh, we got early movement, and we have Wolf set to kick. High kick, this time in the direction of Levi, who handles the ball near midfield, and he has a left sideline, and he looks like he's going to work up that left sideline, and he has a lot of room with one guy to miss, and it looks like it's the kicker, and he made the kicker miss, and he's still up on his feet as he scrimmages all the way into the end zone, and there you go. You kick it to the most dangerous return man in the league, maybe the country, and he brings it back. No one really touched him until he got to the 3-yard line. And that all, honestly, Joe, has been set up because of your decision to take the ball at your own 35-yard line.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that could have all been alleviated if you chose the kick return instead of taking the ball at their own 35. But again, they're kicking the ball knowing the wind is blowing across the field to the wide side of the field. You got to do a better job with directly kicking that ball and trying to hit the out-of-bounds marker and not let Noel get the ball in his hands.
And it's unfortunate, but like, where is the coverage? There is absolutely no coverage as the Fratmen line up to kick this extra point. You had no coverage. Clark Green kicks the ball here, gets that single point. But Levi and Josh on the previous time had at least 15 full strides before anyone even presented themselves.
Yeah, I think what you're seeing on that punt is they've got that early motion. They're bringing the two upbacks to the short side of the field, and the ball. So you're taking less players away from the field side and trying to. That's why when you miss kick it and get the ball into the hands of the returner, there's a lot of empty space on the wide side of the field that we've seen in the last two punt returns by AKO. So I think London's got to do a little bit better job on their special teams and understanding the wind and how that affects their kicks.
And most times they're not. When you do leak two guys to one side and you have those headhunters and they're trying to go after it, you're usually trying to kick it to their side, clearly to their side. And that hasn't happened once. Like you said, they're not directionalizing it nearly in their direction, and all AKO's adjustment is no problem. We're going to run away from those headhunters, and it's worked to a charm so far, which now at 14-2, if the Beefeaters get nothing and the Fratmen can tack one on, yet you played so well to keep yourself in the game, and you could be down 3 scores before a blink of an eye.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to block grass than it is to block a player.
Clark Green slips, gets a short kick, and in the direction of the return man, and that's number 33 for the Beefeaters, who pick up about 15 yards, and that is Mitchell Smiley once again, who's still up as he's piled up into the ground. But to go back to that, and I know we're harping on the same thing, that's the exact situation that could have happened after the safety. You got a wet, sort of slick field. It's not raining here, but it rained earlier in last night, and Clark Green didn't get a good kickoff on. It's into the wind, and they already have it at the 35-yard line, which means they probably would have had it near midfield had they opted to make AKO kick.
Absolutely, and I think, given that situation again, I think the London team would probably make that change and make AKO kickoff. But nonetheless, this is what they've chosen to do. This is where we're at, 14-2 for AKO, and I think if you're AKO, you're happy at the decisions made by the London coaching staff.
Absolutely. So you have Huggins again, and he looks to turn the ball, and he option fakes it again, and Arbolito picks up maybe a half a yard as the Fratmen defense rallies.
Yeah, very good job by Donkers forcing that play back up inside to his help and be able to take that pitch away.
So we're going to get the 3-minute warning here, and it's going to bring a second down and long situation. It looks like, I think both teams have all their timeouts. I don't recall a timeout being indicated on the field, so 2 timeouts remaining. And if the Beefeaters don't get a first down, the Fratmen will get an additional possession here. And they will have the choice in the second half, I'm assuming, maybe defending an end after they kick to open the game. Here we go, second down and 9.5 yard line, or 9.5 yards. Huggins looks right, throws the ball over the top, has his receiver who picks up about 13 yards, enough for the first down, and that's number 26, Chuck Wall, on the back end of that reception.
Yeah, very good route by number 26 there. Knowing where the first down yardage, made his curl a little bit deeper, coming back to the ball, still give himself enough yardage to get that first down, as opposed to what happened at the goal line earlier in this quarter.
2:40 and counting in this opening half. 14-2 for the home Fratmen. 1st and 10 at the 51-yard line for the visitors. Fake option, this time he keeps it in the belly of Stewart. And Dwayne Stewart gets piled up for about a 1.5 yard gain.
Yeah, very good job by that AKO defense, and I'm sure the Coach Morency made that adjustment earlier when they saw that. That could have been the first time earlier in this half when we saw that option play, and since then, AKO's done a great job of defending that play.
And that looked like it was Cannell and maybe Dalton Wilkinson inside there on the squeeze. And it's going to bring up a second down and 6.5. He picked up a few more yards than initially I thought he had. Either way, it's near the 50-yard line. Looking to his left, sets his feet, tries to hit a over-the-top smash route, and this time it is picked off again. Jake Nicoletti works his way back, and he slips and falls. Great play by Nicoletti, who's already had maybe a conference player of the week type of game with a couple interceptions and some fine defensive play.
Yeah, very good job by Nicoletti picking that ball up at his highest point, and looked like Johnson didn't really do a great job of going up and getting that ball, but the end result, if that ball was again incomplete, you couldn't actually even ask for a better punt from London on that play. So all in all, as long as they can hold AKO here, that should not come back to haunt London much.
You're absolutely correct. Good analysis there. A lot of people don't think about the forward thought. If it wasn't complete, they would have had to punt, and that punt so far has been a disaster. At least now you know they're inside their own 30-yard line here. As the little bit of confusion from the Fratmen. Now Austin looks for the snap, gets it, pitches out, and that's a new look. That's Levi Noel. They're trying to get the speedster with some the ball in his hands early, and he's patiently working up the left sideline, and he looks like he picked up enough for the first down. So a nice little wrinkle trying to get your playmaker the ball in his hands, because the receiving game hasn't worked. He's already made his impact on special teams, and now he gets a carry.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you get the ball into your best playmaker's hands, that's a good thing for your offense.
Maybe the only thing you can be critical of is at that point maybe you should have tried to dive and reach out of bounds, because the clock is going to start. But either way, there's no urgency here for the Fratmen. They have 2 timeouts, 1:40 left in this opening half. You do still see Levi Noel in the backfield with McCann. And now it's an inside run to McCann, who finds a little bit of a seam, powers his way forward, and he crosses the 45-yard line for a 13-14 yard gain.
And for sure, the influence of Noel in the backfield is probably going to open up some inside running lanes.
Yeah, not only that, it's going to bring those defensive backs up tighter to the line of scrimmage, and you might be able to see a shot taken behind the London defensive backs because they're paying so much attention to Noel in the backfield.
And if they're going to take a shot, my guess it's going to be to number 8, Nathan Leader, who actually isn't even on the field right now. It looks like he was replaced. Either way, you got Noel in the backfield still. Oh, high snap, and with a little bit of heat. Austin Lumley jumps on it, and he looks like he's going to try to scramble, and he just safely goes down. Anyone who's a football fan, anyone knows anything about football, anyone knows anything about fumbled snaps, and if you watched any football last weekend and you were a Michigan fan, you only hope the Michigan punter would have just fell down just like that last week.
Absolutely. Much better job by Lumley on that play, taking the loss and living the punt. It's okay to punt in a game. There's nothing wrong with that or taking a sack. You just can't force things. He learned earlier from that missed play earlier where he threw the interception on the broken play. Well, this time there's another broken play. He just it takes the sack and you punt the ball away. You're still up 14-2 before the half, and good smart play. Don't give something cheap to London that they don't deserve.
And wisely and alertly, the London sideline does take their first of 2 timeouts, knowing that it was a big loss, knowing full well as we see the crowd here. Not a lot of bundled up. We see a young man in shorts, so we have a very, very nice day here. Despite the wind, it is not a cool day, and we are full house here as you see a whole bunch of people enjoying the Fratmen game. I'm sure they are a little surprised that the game is this tight, but with 1:08 left, second down and long, the Fratmen do lead 14-2. They haven't played their cleanest half of football. However, they are still leading, and you know what? They expected a battle. They really did.
Yep. And I'm sure the fans here are enjoying this well-fought game so far as well, and they're getting their money's worth.
And we have the snap, and Austin's trying to do a quick hitch to Levi and say, okay, guy, you're my best player. Can you make somebody miss? Can you make something special happen? And this time, I think there's a fundamental mistake. He got out of bounds, it looked like. And if that is the indication, that saves a Beefeater timeout, and that's going to give the Beefeaters probably pretty good field position after this punt and still 1 timeout.
Yeah, and saves that time on the clock for sure. And you got a dangerous punt returner back there. He looks to be setting up a little bit deep. This punt is going into the wind. And if I was him, I would step definitely on this hash, on the hash towards the sideline with the fans, because that ball is going to carry it this way.
Actually, he wasn't out of bounds. The referee did signal ready for play. I'm a little surprised the Beefeaters didn't take the timeout. It looked like he was out of bounds. Either way, Clark Green sets up the kick, gets a nice kick, working up that right sideline, and he slips. Unfortunately, the footing becoming a concern. As Akeem
Johnson with the reception.
39 seconds
Flipped on the field. Touched. Ball down on the 35.
Go the length of the field with 1 timeout.
Yeah, and good job by Johnson on there, catching that ball in the air and giving himself an opportunity to make a play. Unfortunately, he's lost his footing, and he was down as soon as his knee touches. But gives their offense an opportunity to get into field goal range, or maybe even take a couple shots with their receivers downfield.
This is one of the big differences between Canada and the U.S. Most U.S. teams, they just take a knee here, they go in at the half. Canada, with the way the clock goes, with some of the unique rules like punting for a single, something like that, you might get a punt here. You got Huggins who's going to take a shot, he's looking down the field, he has somebody over the middle on a square, and that's Chuck Wall. It's about 15 yards. I think it's the ball to the 49-yard line.
Pass up the middle.
You know the Fratmen defense.
Caught by Chuck Wall.
Happy to give that one up.
Yeah, and that clock stops as soon as it stops for the end of the play and waits for the ready for play. So they're going to get this off within a couple seconds of the whistle.
30 seconds. Delayed draw. And it bounces right back into the stand. Fortunately for the Beefeaters.
Yeah, it looked like he was dribbling the ball downfield, and this isn't basketball, this is football.
Man, that off-ball-shaped ball took a basketball and bounced right back into his hand. So you have 25 seconds or so left. Ready for play is in. Shotgun snap. Huggins looking to his right, scrambles up the pocket. Looks like he stays behind the line of scrimmage. Ball is intercepted. It's
looks like they're going to call this back on a hold or a blocking behind at the very end of the play. But that will give AKO one play.
No time left on the clock.
So, because there was you can't end the half on a penalty. If they don't give him the touchdown, they're going to have one play from about the 25-yard line. It looks to be.
While the officials sort out the call.
Back against the return team. And you're going to, like you said, have one more play. Now, that wasn't a rough play, so it's not 15 yards.
Nope.
They're only going to walk it off 10, as opposed to an unnecessary roughness block in the back. It is just a push from behind, 10-yard penalty. And you are going to, as you hear, Coach LaChance calls one of his timeouts. You can't carry him over. So you might as well get the right decision, right call in here. You're into the wind. You have a kicker who definitely has a strong enough leg to do this, but you do run the risk of maybe having a big return the other way. What do you do here in this?
You know, it looks like are they bringing the field goal team or are they going offense? I think if it's, I would take the field goal and try and take the points.
It does look like it's a field goal team because the number of personnel, like Canal and a few others that are normally on.
Yeah, it looks like Green is out there setting up for this field goal. So I think that's a good decision by Coach LaChance. Try and take the points when you have them. You're only up 14 to 2. A field goal here puts you up, 15 points? So good decision to kick the field goal here, even though you missed the touchdown on that penalty late in that return.
You got Green with the snap, Graham on the hold, Clark Green looking to make it. And like you said, he drives the ball. And that was good, probably the first ever thing was good today. And the Fratmen do get the benefit. They never expected to add to the lead. They almost had a touchdown, but despite making a number of mistakes, their defense is creative.
Well, the field goal was good. Score at the half, AKO 17. The London Beefeaters 2.
And as the team's going for the half, we're going to have a
Don't forget, fans, tips and hats are available under the seat. You can get them embroidered with any
football action
numbers
here.
$10.
Jay Legend High School. We'll be visiting London. And the Windsor Mayfield Fratmen.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Windsor Honda.
So yeah, it was a good half by London, and I think if you're going into this halftime, I think you're going to talk to the guys. You know what? We're still in this game. We've made a ton of mistakes. But we're only two scores down in this game. I think they're gonna be happy about the way the result is, but not happy about the way they played in some aspects of the game. And I think conversely, if you're AKO. And we'll talk about that after we're going to throw it down the field to Dominic on the field.
They said they lost me.
Tom is trying to justify buying a new car. That should do it. Need a good reason? There's never been a better time to get yourself into the best-selling car in Canada for 17 years. Now during the Honda Model Clearout, get a $1,000 Civic bonus when you finance any new 2015 Civic model.
It's not just about hockey. It's about getting your great education too.
Academics are equally, if not more important, than athletics. The Hockey Canada Skills Academy is a great opportunity for any student athlete to live their dream and chase their passion. It gives them an opportunity to get a workout in the morning, they're physically and mentally engaged, and it helps them as a student as well throughout the day. Our program is not just for the elite athletes, it's for everyone.
Obviously, prepared well, playing these guys tough, playing you guys tough. Anything different out of the London team out of that first half that you saw, maybe?
Enormous. We've played this same team 9 times in the last 3 years. We know each other. We understand what we're going to bring. We knew we were going to get their best. We expect them to give everything they've got.
Well, evaluate that first half for the Fratmen then.
Well, we out on the field. Half game. We're worried early. Remember, we haven't been that tested. So it's good. It was fantastic. We came through it. Defense is playing phenomenal. We're going to go over and we're going to run.
Okay, you know Coach LaChance as well as anybody. Take us to the team huddle right now, what he's telling the guys. What can you foresee any adjustments there? You're part of it all. Tell me about that and you know how that part of the game is going for your guys.
Special teams, few mistakes early.
You think could be the deciding factor in this game going into the second half?
As long as we don't beat ourselves.
There's certain ones talking in some spots.
I'll talk to the big guy upstairs on that. Coach, let you get back to the team. Good luck. Always
Thanks,
great
Don.
to talk to you.
Appreciate it.
Jamie McCurdy, a hardworking coach. I'll bring in Coach Annan from the London Beefeaters. Coach, really appreciate the time here. I'll get you for just a couple of minutes here. Well, quick thoughts about that first half, where you thought the difference was?
We made too many mistakes, plain and simple. Throwing up picks, can't do that. Without those picks, who knows what the score would be.
A lot of people, you know, obviously AKO came into this game as heavy favorites. I thought your team played the guys pretty tough and didn't show any intimidation at all. Are you happy with that part of it at all? Did you think they did play them tough?
I'm happy with how they're playing. Yeah, they're playing pretty strong. We just got to play mistake-free football for the second half and hopefully turn around.
Coach McCurdy just said it, Coach Annan, and just a moment ago. He said these two teams have played each other like 9 times in the last 3 years. You know each other so very well. Is there any one thing that you could possibly do that might catch them off guard or just change the complexion of a game?
Just stop making mistakes. Yeah. We keep shooting ourselves in the foot. Picks, there's nothing. If we make our completions, passes are deep passes, different story.
They have depth in this lineup, Coach. The running game is really deep. Of course, they have Levi Noel on the receiving core. Their offense is deep. How do you combat an offense like that?
Well, our defense has been holding up strong, so there's no issue there. The run game's pretty good. We just got to solidify our tackles. He gets a few yards after we hit him the first time. We got to shut him down.
Take us into the huddle with the guys, Coach, if you can. I know you're not going to give us all the information, but just maybe something you'll allude to there that maybe you hope the guys will do a little bit differently, or maybe even alter your attack a little.
Well, we've got to play mistake-free football, but we also have to be disciplined. We aren't getting any breaks with the officials, and that's fine. We understand that. It's part of the game. But that's it. Play disciplined football with no mistakes.
Coach, really appreciate this. I'll let you get back. Good luck in the second half. Coach Rob Annan of the London Beefeaters out. His team down 17-2 at halftime. We're going to take a quick. Speaking of La Jeunesse, we'll talk to the head football coach here of that school. Doing a great job. Ed Young will join us right after these messages. You're watching OFC Football on WE TV.
Imagine a place to climb, to tumble, to fly, to run, to glide, to achieve, where a sense of health, friendly competition, and growth all come together. Can you imagine that place, that destination? We have, and we're building it right now in Windsor, with a planned development of almost 200,000 square feet of athletic playground, and that's just on the inside. Central Park Athletics, some of it's already here, the rest is coming soon. Imagine that.
First of all, Coach, let me get your first thoughts about this first half of football here. What you thought of it?
It's some good, hard-hitting football. Seeing some good athletic play by a lot of your Fratmen players. Exciting. This is my first time coming out this season, and I love what I'm seeing. Yeah. You guys got something special going.
Yeah, they've had a great year. It's pretty hard to argue 8-0, and the way this team's done it all season long. Let's talk about your school, EJ La Jeunesse. A little bit of a tough year. Yeah. I think you're standing at 1-3-1 right now. You had mentioned the injury bug has really hurt the team.
That's here. Yeah, we've been bitten hard all season long, but we're battling. The great thing, though, is we're learning adversity, how to deal with adversity. A lot of young players stepping up, so the future is very bright for us. But, yeah, this has been a tough season, frustrating at times, but, again, a lot of bright spots, a lot of talent coming up through the ranks, so the future is very bright for us.
What's the most important thing, Coach Young, getting a high school program off the ground and I guess getting it to a point where it's consistent?
You know what? That's the most important point you touched right there is consistency. With our coaching, our training methods, it is consistency to develop more consistent gameplay, mental preparation, all of the above. But that's the main thing, consistently, mental preparation, and just developing a strong work ethic. That's something we've been pushing hard since day one, from our 2012 JV team to our first year of varsity football, 2013, is just pushing a good, strong work ethic, attitude and work ethic. That's all we're about, bringing a good attitude and a great work ethic.
We're talking to head coach Ed Young of the La Jeunesse team here that plays on this field. I want to ask you about that, Coach Young. How is this association with AKO and now the high school, how has that enhanced your program even? Is it a way that it can work and help you along?
Yeah, definitely. It's brought our players just a different perspective, playing at another level. Watching you guys here practice, gameplay, just your total preparation before practice and games. The young guys are seeing that. They're seeing like, hey, this is what we can do beyond football. It just gives us something to shoot for, strive for. And then obviously with you guys here, it just brings a better football culture to the program. We've been working hard to build a football culture, but having an established program like the Fratmen.
I love this facility. I've been telling a lot of people about it. I run around the city all over the place, and I brag about it. I said, this is one of the most intimate, and I'll tell you what, it's only first year. A lot of people, I think, has come together, but you look at the stands, you look at the scoreboard, the goalposts, the field, everything is coming along so nicely here. That's got to be pretty exciting for your guys to come in and play like what is a real football stadium.
Exactly. That's very this until last year. Once we announced our partnership, we got the field, we got everything going. So this truly helps to build our culture, because when you don't practice on the field and play on the game field, it's kind of a second thought. But when you have a home field, you protect and know you have. So again, it just all helps to build the football.
People, you got to get out and really experience it. You're part of to feel the football player yourself. Are there any Eddie Youngs on this La Jeunesse team that you can see?
There's some better than naming names. We have some standout players that we definitely expect to see playing at the next level, whether CIS or NCAA.
Maybe Fratmen?
Fratmen for sure. Yeah, we're definitely sending some guys your way. So there's a lot of talent on the program now coming in next year. Tons of athletic talent. So don't be surprised when you see some players going next level from here.
What's up next for your club?
Next up, we have Catholic Central this week, Thursday. Yep, we have. We do and done it from day one. As you may have known, we played 3 games in the U.S. this year. We're not afraid to play anybody. We'll play anybody.
Well, that's how you get better. That's true. Coach, keep up the great work. Appreciate you giving us some time here, and I'm sure we will talk down the road for sure.
For having me.
Head coach Eddie Young of La Jeunesse here.
Like our champions, we know what it takes to win. Every day we put on our uniforms and we strive to be the best. Ring after ring, we keep practicing until it becomes second nature.
Check. That's a little bit better, and we got a little bit.
Okay, you got me now?
Oh, okay.
Okay, very good. Because I know
I know just before the half you said you couldn't get me.
Field. We're just about set for second half action, OFC semifinal football action here on we-tv.ca. The AKL Fratmen in battle with the London Beefeaters. 17-2 is our score at halftime. Just want to let you know, if the Fratmen are successful here this afternoon, they'll be back a week from tomorrow on Sunday, November 1st. That will be the OFC championship game played right here at La Jeunesse Field. 1 o'clock will be the kickoff. So if you want to tune into that game here on WeTV, we'll have all the action for you. But really, you should come down to La Jeunesse Field and take in a game. It's outstanding for viewing and being a part of a real good, exciting football game. But again, next Sunday will be the OFC final right here on we-tv.ca, 1 o'clock kickoff. So hopefully you can join us for that. Our play-by-play team is back in place. I'm going to send it back up to the broadcast booth. Badia Kwas and Joel Manerick with the call in the second half.
Thank you, Dominic, and we appreciate all the information we get at halftime from you as we're about to resume second half action of Ontario Football Conference play between the home AKL Fratmen, who carry a 17-2 lead over the visiting London Beefeaters. Joe, something to take from the first half.
Yeah, I think if you're London, you got to realize that you've had 4 turnovers in that first half, countless penalties, and you're only 15 points down to the number 1 team in the province. So, as far as the score goes, you feel a little bit good about yourself, but as far as your play, you know you can do better, and that's going to hold them in good stead. Looks like they're going to be returning the ball to start this second half, so they have an opportunity to get right back into this game.
Don't forget today's game.
Yeah, and not only are they getting the ball, they'll also have wind in the fourth quarter, so we'll see if that's going to be a factor, because I'm assuming the AKO Fratmen are hoping to get on early and extend this lead.
That's what I would expect if that was indeed the case of taking the wind. I'm not sure who won the coin toss to start the game. I don't remember back then, but I know a lot of Coach Morency coach teams tend to kick off both halves because they like to put his defense out on the field and get a quick stop and get the ball in good territory.
And that is from experience. I know you played for them. I did as well. And a number of times that has been the case. So let's see if that strategy works, if they can pin the Beefeaters deep, get a quick 2 and out, and get the offense in good field position to start as the officials take their place on the field. And we're about to have a second half action here on we-tv.ca. Proud providers of Windsor AKO Fratmen football.
Now it looks like London's made a change in putting Hakeem Johnson back there and instead taking away Shaquille Johnson from the kick return unit.
Green, deep driving kick over the head of Johnson, and the ball bounced deep into the end zone. And it looks like he's going to make an attempt to take the ball out, and he does indeed get the ball out, and he's going to get himself maybe to the 7-yard line.
And that's a mistake. You should give up that point there and get the ball to the 35. Now you put yourself deep in your own end to start this half into the wind.
And unlike a punt or a missed field goal extending into the end zone, a kickoff remains at the point at which it was brought out rather than advancing to the 20.
Yeah, unfortunate for the London Beefeaters that he chose to bring that ball out of the end zone. They've made a curious couple of special teams plays today, so maybe some more time spent during the week on those special team situations needs to be done in the coming years for this Beefeater team.
So you're going to have Huggins come out, and he's going to have just 5 yards to work with. Takes a shotgun snap, looks left, throws a quick little hitch, finds his intended target, and that's number 4. And that is Johnson again, who looks like he is tackled at the 1-yard line. And Shaquille Johnson, who caught the ball, really had no room to work with as he was engaged by a defender right away.
Yeah, he caught it. He headed towards the line of scrimmage, but then stopped and came backwards trying to make a play. But you backed up against your own goal line. You need to just take forward and go forward and get what's there.
So if they don't get another yard here, there, instead of taking the single, that's going to cost them an extra point because the likely concession of the safety is coming. As empty the backfield, Huggins looks right, tries to throw over the top, has a receiver there, looks like it's blown coverage, and it looks like he's still up on his feet as he crosses the 35-yard line, and it looks like he gets all the way to the 37-yard line. So obviously a blown coverage in the play, and the Beefeaters exploit it.
Yeah, absolutely. It was there was nobody on him. I don't know if that was some kind of sleeper play where he never came off into the huddle and then stayed out by the numbers, but nonetheless, it's a first down for London getting out of a big hole.
Yeah, and it looks like the corner on that side is Buckley, and I'm not sure if he thought he had help over the top, but the help never did rotate if he did, and that's going to be a 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line. As Stewart is a deep back, and he powers his way forward behind a offensive line that, as you mentioned earlier, doesn't have a tremendous amount of depth, and he looks like he picked up a solid 7 yards.
Yeah, nice power play, bringing the guard, wrapping around the center, getting up into the hole, good for about 7 yards, but they do have a lineman that's down, a little bit dinged up. They're big number 77.
And that's Albert Valentine. And I'm sure he's not bringing the love when he hits people.
45-yard line.
2nd down and 3. 45-yard line. Stewart, the lone backfield. Confusion in the backfield, and Huggins has to pull it down, and he picks up, maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage. It's going to bring up a 3rd down situation.
Yeah, definitely miscommunication in the backfield. They looked like they were trying to run counter Trey, bringing both guard and tackle to the left side of the formation, but looks like the back maybe didn't recognize the play and didn't take his correct steps.
And he is now the feature back, so maybe he hasn't had as many reps, Dwayne Stewart, as the feature tailback, and he got a little confused from his role previously. Either way, 3rd down. Huggins under center, turns, hands the ball off, play fake, flares it out to his intended receiver who is down, and once again, it looks like he caught the ball, and it looks like he caught the ball short of the yard to gain, and it looks like the Fratmen are going to get the benefit of another turnover on downs.
Yeah, that was a short, the pass fluttered a little bit, and couldn't tell if it got tipped at the line of scrimmage, but the receiver was open, and he would have had the 1st down easily if the ball landed in his hands in stride, but he had to fall back for that, make the catch, and he was half a yard short of that 1st down.
Yeah, missed opportunity, because not only did I get fooled out, a number of the Fratmen defenders got fooled out, and he had a little room to work, as you see Lumley under center with McCann deep and Revenberg his lead blocker. Looks like they run a power play to the left, and it looks like as McCann tried to make his cut back inside, looks like he slipped, and it looked like there was a hole there too. His eyes probably opened up real quick when he saw that, but his feet just didn't follow.
Yeah, he put that foot in the ground and tried to head up into that hole, and just it came up from underneath him. I think now you've seen that they moved. We talked about moving Levy Noel around in the backfield out in the wide receiver spot. Now it looked like he's playing in the slot, so you might want to see him come down there and run maybe a little corner route from the inside slot receiver position. Now he's in the backfield.
Under center, McCann the lead blocker. They run trap back underneath, and it's McCann who finds a seam, and he's run this play to perfection all year long as he finds a seam up the middle, working his way towards the end zone at the 5-yard line, expands forward, and that is a touchdown. That is a classic play run by him, and we have some flags at the end of the play, and we're going to see what that call is, but that looked like it was a 47-yard touchdown run by Cody McCann on an inside trap. So Levi attracted a lot of attention, yet the best ball carrier for the Fratmen made them pay.
Yeah, and at the end of that play, you'll just see the London player pushes McCann as he crosses the line of scrimmage into the end zone. I think that could have been a no call. I think because of Cody going to the ground, it caused the official, Joe Cooper, to throw his flag, but maybe that was one that they didn't have to throw as the contact was made just as he was crossing the line of scrimmage or into the end zone. But nonetheless, it looks like it'll be a rough play against London that'll be enforced on the kickoff.
So after a failed 3rd down effort, the Fratmen make the Beefeaters pay as Clark Green attempts to extend the lead. The snap is good, it's down, and it's up. The single point is made. And with 10 remaining in the third quarter. The Fratmen extend their lead pretty quickly, 24-2. And now, when you look at it, in the last handful of minutes, the Fratmen have put up 16 points, 2 quick touchdowns, and they got that field goal.
Yeah, and at halftime, Dominic was talking with Coach Annan from the Beefeaters. What he talked about is too many mistakes in that first half, and they've come out the second half and with 2 huge mistakes. One, trying to run that ball out of the end zone early, and then on that third down play, running that pattern a little bit short and giving the ball up and downs. And then the penalty at the end of that the touchdown round now forces a kick coming from their own 50-yard line. So you're going to see Clark Green probably put this in through the end zone and look to get another single point, or he's going to put it as high as he can and try and pin the Beefeaters deep in their own end.
He's got to be careful, though. The ball has to land in play. If it sails out of the back of the end zone, that's kicked directly out of bounds, and that's going to give the Beefeaters a break. So unlike it is on a missed field goal or a punt that can sail out of the back of the end zone, this ball has to land in play before it goes out of bounds. So Clark Green approaches the ball here, and he's driving it through the uprights. It's handled in play, and it looks like he's going to jog it out. And no, now he's going to actually try to break the plane. Has a sideline. Another critical mistake. I thought he was toying maybe just to draw them in and then take a knee, but then he bursts and he gets it out to what, the 5-yard line?
Yeah, and again, you pin yourself deep, and those are just bad mistakes. That's hidden yardage that is. It goes against you. I mean, you can get that ball out to the 35. 24-2 is no different than 26-2. So at this point in time, you need field position as opposed to the points given up. Whether the coaches are telling him or he's doing it on his own, you can't have that in a game of this caliber.
Absolutely. And if you think you're going to mount a comeback with the win, you have to make sure that you keep it reasonably close. Huggins looking to his right, throws that quick out, and that looks like it's Shaquille Johnson, who's just piled up. I'm not sure if he even got back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, great job by that AKO defense to rally to that ball. And when Johnson catches that ball and he turns upfield, he sees 3 AKO Fratmen in his space, and there's no place for him to go.
And it looks like he actually may have lost a yard on the play. Either way, it's definitely a second down and long situation. And it is Dwayne Stewart still as the deep feature back. Huggins looks for Wall, finds Wall, and looks like he's picked up enough for the first down, and that's been his favorite target right now, 26, Chuck Wall.
Yeah, he's definitely been their most consistent receiver, getting enough for the first down and then coming back to the ball and makes the catch. He's still got enough yards for the first down. Smart play by Chuck Wall.
All right, first down and 10 from, it looks like the 18-yard line, 17-yard line.
Ball on the 17, first down, London.
Johnson moving out to quarterback's left. He hands the ball off to Stewart, who tries to power off the right side. He's tackled maybe for a 3-yard gain.
Yeah, I think that play is just to keep the AKO defense a little bit honest that they will still run the ball, but if they're going to get back in this game, they have to put the ball in the air and get some plays downfield.
I would suspect at some point Huggins might try a little bootleg off of something like that. So far, they've tried to run some stretch, maybe not with much success, but maybe they're setting that up. And like you said, they're just trying to keep them honest. Brings up a second down and 7. Huggins takes a shotgun, looks left, sets left, has to scramble, and looks like he's under some pressure. And that looks like that is number 19 for the Fratmen, and that's Devontae Pierce, who makes the sack after it looks like good coverage in the backfield. So combination coverage sack and force unit sack, and that's going to bring up a third down and long situation. And from your own, snapping from about your own 10-yard line, do you concede here, Joe?
Especially you're kicking into the wind. I think you have to give up 2 points. You've already given up a punt return for a touchdown. Give up the 2 points, kick off from the 35, or for your AKO, they choose to kick the scrimmage from their own 35.
Either way, they're kicking the ball here to 2 dangerous return men, and it is a third and long situation, and it's number 2, Matt Wolf, who's deep, and they're in more of a traditional punt set here. Snap comes, and he does indeed take the knee. And that results in a 2-point safety, extending the Fratmen lead to 26-2 with a little over 8 minutes left in this third quarter. And it looks like the Fratmen have already brought out their return team. So unlike earlier in the game where the Beefeaters opted to scrimmage from the 35, the Fratmen are making the Beefeaters punt or kick into the wind.
Yeah, when you're after a field goal, you have that option to kick from the 45 or to scrimmage from your own 35, and that makes a little bit more sense when you start when the opposition is kicking from their 45. But when you after a safety, you have to kick from the 35. That's 10 yards, and I think always you want to have your kick return team out there, especially when you have dangerous returners as AKO does. You know, and that whole sequence of events changes if the returner gives up the single point on the kickoff and they scrimmage from the 35 instead of their own 5.
Now, do the Beefeaters try an onside from this position?
In going into the wind, I would, because that ball is going to held up, and it's a 50-50 ball. So you just kind of want him a little bit more.
And they try a short little moonshot action, and it looks like it is bouncing around, and the last people to touch it, it looks like the Beefeaters did indeed handle the ball last, and the Beefeaters did recover the ball. And then now, I guess there is the drawback to opting to force the team to kick. And they took the gamble, and now they have the ball at the 50-yard line. But did they make something happen with that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a 50-50 ball. And if you're AKO, you got to believe that your guy's going to go up and make that play. And he had an opportunity to look like Anthony McDonald was out there, had his hands on the ball, just didn't come down with it. But, your defense is still pitching the shutout, basically, after giving up 2-point safety earlier in the game. So no panic on the AKO side because of this.
All right, Huggins. Short sprint to his left, sets his feet, trying to throw that corner route once again. Looks like we're in good field position there. It just looks like good coverage, knowing where the boundary is, and they're trying to target their favorite receiver again, Chuck Wall.
Yeah, very good job by Wall. He actually makes that catch, and I think maybe if we look back at that, you might have an idea that he did catch that ball in bounds, but I think maybe his elbow touched out of bounds before his feet landed in bounds with the ball. Great effort, though, by Wall on that play, though.
Decent throw into the wind. I guess the only thing from that previous play is maybe if you were Coach O'Shaughnessy, your only regret would be just call your timeout. Maybe, I know it's early, but get your hands team on if they're going to do the moonshot and try to recover it. But like you said, it's not panic time. And we see Stewart deep, Huggins under center here. It looks like they're trying a little bit of fake, and they try to throw the ball over the top. The ball seems to be underthrown. It's batted, and it looks like it is indeed intercepted as Josh Wright comes away with the ball, and I believe that's interception number 4.
I think it's actually interception number 5.
And now we have a flag, and it looked like it was one of the players said something to the referee on his way back to his bench from the Beefeaters.
Yeah, it could have been number 65 as he passed the side judge there, Mr. McCreary. Again, that was an opportunity that could have been, a face guarding situation, but they did not make contact with the receiver. Receiver didn't fight back through the player to try and make a catch on the ball. So no call, and that's a good no call in that situation, and good job by AKO to come up with that football.
And with 7.5 minutes left with the wind, I would suspect AKO is going to try to just take something deep at some point. To Levi again, but they still haven't hit Nathan Leader very much today, or at all for that matter, and he has been a true weapon for them. The referees are going to conference here just to discuss it looks like Coach Annan has asked for a conference, and that means the referees are going to go discuss something with him, and Mr. McDonald is accompanied by the umpire, Chris Patton.
I think Coach Annan is what he's asking about. His player was trying to fight back through the defenders, and they didn't get the call on that, but they end up getting the objectionable conduct call on their side.
Yeah, when the ball's severely underthrown, and it wasn't underthrown because of his arm, the wind obviously factored in.
Absolutely.
So as the ball comes underthrown, it's hard for an official to make that call. He's not going to throw a flag on a ball where you're sure you're blocking him out, but the reality of it is the wind factored in, and you're going to let the players compete at that point in time.
And I think if you're Coach Annan, you're thinking the exact opposite. That it doesn't matter that the wind is blowing and blowing the ball back. My player is getting an opportunity to go after that ball being impeded by the defender, and that wasn't called.
See, now this is something unique. Normally the head referee will only talk to the head coach, and it appears like one of the assistants is directing the conversation here, and I'm not sure exactly what he might be indicating or saying, but either way, they're going to clear this up. It doesn't look like they're happy. His comments at the half with Dominic that indicate that he wasn't happy with the officiating or some of the calls that went against him. And here's another one. We just had another penalty. And again, it was something said by the official again. And this time here, it looks like it's John Dodson who decides, listen, enough, coach. You can't keep saying something. And you're going to keep saying, and you're going to keep degrading what we're trying to do here. And now the coach is making himself an issue, and he's making it harder on his players.
Yeah, and it was, unfortunately, it wasn't any of those two coaches that were talking to the officials. It was somebody else on the bench as they were walking back said something. And they just got to control themselves and let the players on the field play the game and not make a spectacle of themselves.
By no stretch of the imagination is it over. 26-2 is not a done deal. They have every opportunity to still play football and surprise people. I distinctly remember 3 years ago, before AKO finally got through on their run, the London Beefeaters actually mounted a comeback at Windsor Stadium, kicked a field goal to win the game, and I mean, crazier things have happened. We've seen all kinds of football in all our days, so you got to coach these kids up, and we'll see if they're going to walk it up, and they are indeed. And it looks like somebody might have been sent off, but not sure. We have 10 yards walk off.
I think if you're AKO here, I think you might want to take a shot with Noel down the sideline and try and really put a dagger into the heart of the London Beefeaters.
All right, 1st and 10, 53-yard line. Lumley looks like he pitches the ball, and that's Revenberg who finds a seam up the left sideline, and he powers his way close to a first down. And actually definitely to a first down as he gets close to the 45-yard line of the Beefeaters. Little confusion actually, because it looked like McCann might have went the wrong way because Revenberg had no lead blocker on that pitch.
And sometimes that's what happens after a long delay. You're not sure what's going on. You forget the play that was called, and you just kind of zone out there for a moment.
All right, so Revenberg assumes his normal position at the fullback with McCann at the tailback. Lumley in the shotgun. Backfield empties a little bit, looks quick hitch, finds Levi, thrown behind the line of scrimmage, makes one guy miss, uses his speed, and now you see the athleticism. As we get flags come out, Levi is still up on his feet, which is just sheer strength to complement with that. But we're going to see what this flag is.
Yeah, just good job by Noel, just fighting that for extra yardage. It looks like an illegal block against AKO. That'll be a 10-yard penalty, and then it's going to repeat first down, make it 1st and 20.
Yeah, so that, unfortunately, the effort from Levi is negated by some illegal activity.
Illegal block on his
He's a joy to watch when Noel gets the ball in his hands. He looks very smooth out there. Doesn't look like he's going very fast, but then he just blows by people.
I would not be surprised here if they came right back underneath of that trap with McCann. First down and 20. They're going to be expecting over the top. Levi looks like he's staying in the backfield right now with, and that is indeed the case. I would not be surprised if you saw something back underneath here as we have a 1st and 20. And we get a jet sweep action, and it's Leader who finds a seam up the left side after some good blocking, and he keeps working up the left side for a first down, and before he's rallied and tackled at about the 23-yard line. So a new wrinkle. I'm not sure if they've seen too many plays with jet sweep from Nathan Leader, but you get the block from Cody McCann, which springs him, and a big play, which brings it all the way to the 26-yard line.
Yeah, very good job by number 50, DeMarcus Ware, downfield, getting his hands on the defensive back without blocking in the behind, and just leading Leader up the sideline.
And he's a big man, and he can rumble when he wants to. That's for sure. Noel remains in the backfield. Lumley under center. McCann is the fullback. And inside dive play to McCann, who didn't fool anyone there. Not much push. They brought extra bodies to the line of scrimmage, and here we go. We have another flag, and this one looked like it was after the whistle. So we'll see if that's going to affect the play and if it stands, as we have a 1-yard gain. We have an unnecessary roughness as the indication against the Fratmen, unnecessary roughness against the Beefeaters. So those offset each other, and that's going to bring up a second down and 9.5.
Has been called on London.
Yeah, so net result is that there's both penalties each way. They saw each other off. That's just going to replay the down.
All right, so that's going to bring second down and long.
26-yard line, second down.
Well, they're definitely in Clark Green's field goal range if they don't get another yard here. Noel in the backfield. Now he empties out. McCann's the only one in the backfield. Austin looks left, has to scramble because the protection isn't there. He tries to set his feet, throws the ball to his intended receiver who pulls it off the ground, and that looks like that is caught. And I don't know if he has enough for the yards to gain, but they're going to get together and decide whether or not it was a completion.
I think they're going to wave that off and be incomplete.
And you're correct, they did wave that off, and that's going to bring out Clark Green and the rest of the field goal team.
And the kicking team comes onto the field.
So after all that, good stand by London, forcing a field goal, doesn't get down, give up the touchdown after a bevy of penalties on that drive.
Now again, if it is a missed field goal, are they going to concede the single and try to get that field position back with 5 minutes and change left in this quarter here?
Remember earlier they blocked one as well, so they've got everybody up on the line of scrimmage.
Prezik is the center, Ream's the holder. Snap is good, hold is down, a low kick, barely got over the line of scrimmage. It's Johnson again who bobbles at this time, and he does work up the right sideline, and he's bottled up. Now, he never established possession until...
I believe that it's going to come out to the 20-yard line, though, because he was in the end zone when the ball crossed the plane of the goal line, and so he brought that ball out of the end zone.
Okay.
Now, whether the referee's seen it that way, was another.
I wasn't sure. I honestly, I wasn't sure if it did cross. Either way, we're going to find out from the spot, because that's going to tell us, because right now the initial indication is that it is indeed being walked out to the 20-yard line, and they're going to find out whether or not they want it on the right hash, middle, or left hash. So with a 4:50 and counting left in this third quarter, the Windsor AKO Fratmen are up 26-2. And it's a 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line for Blake Huggins and the rest of his offense. As he looks to the right, sets his feet, trying to go over the top, has a receiver, and that was Johnson, who he felt the presence of, it looked like Story, working his way up that left sideline.
Yeah, and he's had a couple opportunities downfield and not making plays, and, you know, I've talked to one of the players before the game from London, and they said, you know, one thing they need to play with is a little bit more heart, and they've done that earlier, but there's some players that seems that they're a little bit less than courageous maybe out on that field.
And effort is one thing. It's the only thing that can never be compromised. Sometimes you're limited in your talent, but you always have to try. And that said, you got Huggins, who has 3 receivers to his left. They have an ISO situation on his right side. He looks left, stays on his left, is trying to hit the over the top. He has his favorite target so far, Chuck Wall, who settles into the dig route, and he picks up a good chunk of the yards. Looks like 25 yards, and it's going to bring up a 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line.
Yeah, very nice route combination there by London, having the trip receivers. Wall curls up into the inside, having out by the under receiver and the deep corner. And the deep curl opened up, and Huggins hits Wall, as you mentioned, his favorite receiver today.
All right, Dwayne Stewart remains a feature back now in the I set as Huggins hands it to him on a straight ISO run play, and he is just piled up. Comes off of that pile after he got hit. What a violent collision there, and he ends up picking up about 3 yards on the play, but that looked like it was destined to go nowhere, and the big man just rumbled through it.
Yeah, the guys made contact, did not bring their arms, did not wrap, and he was able to bounce off and gain 2 yards. It looked like he was going to gain for no yards or maybe even a slight loss.
So with 3 minutes, almost 3 minutes left in this quarter, the Beefeaters, if they can get one more first down, they might be able to run this quarter out into the win, and still within striking range at 26-2, as we bring this to you here live from EJ Lajeunesse High School on we-tv.ca. Huggins takes a snap, sprints out to his left, sets his feet, looks like he overshoots his target, and he did. And Johnson could not come down with the one-handed catch, and that's going to bring a third down situation.
Yeah, and he had his receiver again, just a poor pass by Huggins on there. He has Johnson wide open in the flats. If he hits that ball in stride, he's got that first down and a little bit more than the first down yardage. But unfortunately now they brings up a third down, forcing a London punt or received punt.
So you have Matt Wolf, and he does have the accompaniment of two guys in the backfield once again. We'll see what side they sprint out to, and we'll see what side he punts to. He sprints out to the left here. Looks like he's trying to angle punt it in that direction, and it looks like in the direction of Levi Noel, who takes a cut, and now he's going to work away from the double coverage. But we have an early flag right off the get-go, and Levi's still up on his feet as he's powering forward. And normally when you have such a quick flag like that, it usually indicates illegal substitution.
Yeah, too many men looks to be against AKO. That's going to be a 10-yard penalty, and it's not an automatic, but since he only needed 8 yards, that should be a first down for London.
And that is indeed the indication. And I've just been told the young man, it's Lievi Noel, and the young man is very proud of his name, and I have a unique name too, and I appreciate when it's said properly. So Lievi goes up, and his efforts are negated because the Fratmen make a substitution error, have an extra man on the field, and the Beefeaters have new life with 2 minutes and 14 seconds left in this third quarter at the midfield stripe, trailing 26-2. If they can somehow steal one in this quarter, maybe, just maybe, it'll rejuvenate them as we see a timeout on the Fratmen sideline. Some of the team did not realize that they gave the ball back to the Beefeaters. They did not want to have another major substitution error, so they're going to get the defense set here. We'll see if that timeout costs them anything. So now that we're winding out this third quarter, anything specific stand out to you, Joe?
Well, just that, in that last series, a couple series ago when that bevy of penalties happened, London got away with that and without a score against them. And that's a huge job by their defense to stop AKO from scoring after such a series of unfortunate events of getting those penalties, and they got away unscathed on that. And as just you mentioned earlier, if they can somehow get a score in this quarter at the end of this drive, get a touchdown and get get some momentum on the inside and start the fourth quarter, down within 2 scores, that's going to be huge for London.
At the ticket booth.
So we will see if they can inch closer. 2:01 remaining in the third quarter. First and 10, midfield strike.
2:01 and a quarter.
Fratmen seems to have their defense
London
set.
has a football. First down,
Huggins
Centerfield.
takes a snap, looks left, stays in the pocket, scrambles out to his right, and looks like he's going to try to run the ball, and he does pick up about 4 yards. And okay, he didn't want to turn the ball over again into
Huggins
the wind.
chooses to carry
At least
for a
it's a
gain of
positive
5.
play, and it's going to bring up a second down in mid-range.
Yeah, good job by Huggins pulling that ball down, not forcing anything, gaining a positive yards on first down. That brings up second and manageable and keeps them on schedule.
All right, the offense breaks their huddle. 3 to his left. Huggins takes the ball, looks left. Quick throw this time, and it is Johnson who does catch that quick little curl. And this time as he slips, it looks like he has enough for the first down as he crosses into the Fratmen territory at the 44.5-yard line.
Yeah, and they've had success against the trips receivers. The route combinations they have are giving AKO a little bit of little problems in their coverage unit. So if they can exploit that, they might be onto something here.
So that first down's critical because it's likely going to give them an opportunity to kill this quarter into the win. As Huggins goes under center, Stewart is his feature back. Straight pitch, the big man's rumbling to the right, squares his shoulders up, powers forward before he's tripped up, picks up a 2 or 3 yard gain, but that's probably not his forte, that pitch play.
No, you want to get him running north and south, not east to west. Get his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage and powering up into the hole. Nice job by number 54 Glovis on the end there, forcing that play up inside and making the tackle for a short gain.
Second down and let's call it 8.5 yards as the the third quarter winds down. Huggins sees 2 receivers to each side, takes the shotgun snap, eyes to the right, steps up into the pocket, underthrows the curl, and that's going to bring up a third down situation.
Yeah, Huggins there stepped up into the pocket and rushed his throw a little bit and did not get a good handle on that ball and threw that ball into the ground. As you mentioned, brings up 3rd and 8.5.
And the subtleties of clock management, if they just wait 1 more second to delay that snap, that would have been the end of the third quarter, and they would have been punting with the wind. Now they have to punt into the wind, and with 1 second or so left,
1.9 seconds left.
That's still a big mistake because you might be given the Fratmen field position that you could have actually flipped had you had the wind to punt. So you have Matt Wolf.
On the positive side of the field, I can't imagine they're actually going to punt this ball.
And they did, and it's actually a pretty good angled punt right to the corner, and that ball takes a favorable bounce for the Fratmen in that it stays in play, and Noel's going to work up that left sideline, and then he stumbles forward, and unfortunately for the Fratmen, he didn't get anything out of it, so a real good punt,
and down
despite the wind, and that turned out to be in the favor of the Beefeaters.
Yeah, finally able to work their directional punt to the sidelines to perfection.
So, it's the end of the third quarter here on we-tv.ca, and we're going to send it down for a commercial.
Dan Dunkers. He is $240.
Bye.
Great. My car's blocked in.
I got this. I think the parking brake is on. Geez, what's in this thing? Rocks?
Welcome back to Ontario Football Conference action, semifinal action here on we-tv.ca as we start the 4th and final quarter with the Fratmen leading 26-2. And on their own 5-yard line, they hand the ball off to Cody McCann, who's still up on his feet, works up the right sideline, but we do have a flag. 2 flags, actually.
Chances are that's going to be a hold against AKO that allowed Cody McCann to get to the outside.
And we're just waiting for official confirmation of the call. And that is indeed the case. It is usually a hold when it's thrown from those types of positions on the field from the officials. And that's going to bring them back half the distance. It's going to pin them a little further back, make it a little longer, but it'll remain first down.
An opportunity here by London to keep AKL from getting the first down, forcing them to concede a safety and then kick off from their own 35-yard line into the wind, if they choose to kick off.
And they run a little trap inside, and it looks like Revenberg keeps his balance and falls forward for about 4 yards as they fake the toss to McCann. And they were just trying to buy themselves a little bit of room just in case they opt not to kick or not to concede. It's going to bring down a 2nd down and long situation here. And with the Fratmen leading 26-2, should things remain in the favor of the Fratmen, we-tv.ca will proudly present the Ontario Football Conference Final here next Sunday, November 1st at 1 p.m. That is, if the Fratmen hold on, they will play host to either Ottawa or Hamilton. Lumley looks back. He's going to try to throw to his favorite target. That's Noel, who unfortunately doesn't catch the ball. If you're a Fratmen fan, he had that, and he usually makes that 8 or 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, that actually looked like it was going to be intercepted, and number 28 was able to stop that ball and actually knock the ball back into Noel's hands. And I think Noel, not realizing the ball was knocked back in those hands, mishandled it. And that brings up a punting situation. Again, we've talked about the AKO more than likely will concede the 2 points here, not giving London any kind of momentum. And again, it'll be interesting to see whether London chooses to receive a kick kickoff or a scrimmage from their own 35-yard line following this.
Yeah, and I know he's disappointed with himself, and usually your star receivers like Lievi, Noel, doesn't play a lot of the special teams, but he just goes right back to his position here as you have Cody McCann who's set to snap the ball, and Clark is set a good 10 yards back into his end zone. The Beefeaters have 9-10 men at the line of scrimmage. Snap comes and run a second off the clock, and Clark does indeed concede the safety. So now the decision, it looks like the sideline is already indicating we'd like to receive the ball.
Concedes the safety.
And that means the Fratmen will have to kick from the 35. But Joe,
Score now 26-4.
this always bothers me, yet there is still another option.
Yes, there is.
The team, after getting the safety, they can choose to take the ball at the 35-yard line. They can choose to make the opponent kick from the 35-yard line. They can still choose to kick the darn ball.
That's correct. Yeah, they can choose to kick off and go for an onside kick. I've only ever seen it once when I was in high school. That we actually did it into a game that was driving rain, and we chose to kick off instead of. Never worked out for us. We lost the game 2-1. But yeah, that is an interesting aspect of the Canadian game.
Yeah, I don't understand that. But either way, we have a 22-point game right now. It's 3 scores. It's well within the range of the Beefeaters. They have the win right now, which, all things considered, they're probably saying to themselves, you know what? We're playing this team tough. We got a chance. Maybe they can regroup. Maybe their sideline can stay focused. And maybe, just maybe, they can make something happen, because they're set to probably have some pretty good field position here as Clark Green's set to kick the ball from his own 35-yard line into the wind.
I think if I was those deep returners, I would move them up at least 5, maybe 10 more yards into this, into the teeth of this wind. That's what Clark Green is facing on this kickoff.
I would agree with you wholeheartedly. 13:24 left in action here. Clark Green kicks the ball off. And yes, it does take a bounce, and that's Smiley who does pick that ball up and is tackled immediately. And Joe, had they just done what you asked them to do and moved up, he catches the ball cleanly. He probably falls forward for 8 to 10 yards. Even if he's tackled, he still is going to get the ball closer to the 45-yard line.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We've seen some special team gaps by London in this game, and it's really cost them. They've had some opportunities where they could, put a nice drive together based off of their special teams play, but it's kind of put them in a hole most of this game.
And now they could have just had the ball at the 35-yard line. Now it cost them 9 seconds.
That's correct.
And when you're battling the clock as well, it's just little things. It is a growing concern. They are still down. Either way, we're approaching 13 minutes left in this game. Huggins has the win, has the ball, looks to his right, throws the ball wide of his intended target, who looked like he drove his hook about 2 or 3 yards deeper. But we have flags on the play, and it looks like the early indication is offsides against London. So I'm assuming they'd probably decline and make it 2nd and 10 if it's indeed against the Beefeaters.
Yeah, I would think so as well, make it 2nd and 10.
And that is indeed the call and the indication, 2nd down.
I think if you're London, it's 3-down territory from this point forward. They got to use every attempt they can to get down the field and score.
Offside London, penalty declined, 2nd down.
Arbolito looks like he's in the backfield this time. Huggins looks left, is going to throw over the top to his favorite receiver, and it is Iswall who catches the ball after the deflection, and he's still up on that sideline as they try to punch the ball out, and the break they may have needed just came in the form of a tip ball into their favorite receiver's hands, Chuck Wall.
Yeah, he's definitely been the player of the game for London so far today. He's made, that's probably his 6th or 7th catch, and they've taken that shot a few times in this game, and finally it's paid some dividends for them. Just a misjudged play by the AKO defensive back, misplaying that ball in the air. And that could be the result of the wind carrying that ball a little bit more than the defensive back expected it to.
Yeah, and that looked like it was Jason Kelly on the coverage on the far sideline. And it took that favorable bounce right into Wall's hands as Huggins now has a 1st and 10 at around the 20-yard line. looks left, throws left, overshoots his target, and this time he was fortunate that Jay Story was unable to come down with that.
Yeah, good effort on the play by Wall, going up there and trying to make that play with one hand and behind him. Not quite Odell Beckham, is he?
No, my correction, it's Tyler Story, who almost came up with another interception.
And that would have been his third for the hat trick today. Him and Jake Nicolelli each have 2 for the Fratmen.
All right, 2nd down and 10, 20-yard line. Snap. Looks up the middle, finds his curl route in the middle, and that again is his favorite receiver, and that is Wall, who I would be maybe remiss if I don't say, how about your eyes look at number 26?
Absolutely, a great catch by Wall. In traffic, reaches out with his hands. There's no alligator arms on him. He's playing his heart out today, and that's an outstanding catch by Chuck Wall. Good job by Huggins stepping up in the pocket and delivering that ball to a place where Wall could get it. Even though there was lots of traffic around, Wall comes up with that. Makes it 1st and goal for London going in with 11:20 to go in the game.
Now, at the score 26-4, it's well within striking range. Huggins looking, quarterback draw. Thought he might have a seam, and indeed has a seam as he dives forward, and the indication is a touchdown as the Beefeaters run the ball from a quarterback draw, find the end zone, hit pay dirt, get their lead, or get back right into this game, and with the wind, it is a brand new ball game.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a design draw. It was very nice, a nice concept if it was, but maybe Huggins just takes that down. He had his backs both swing, and he had an opportunity to hit the back, but then he saw it open up in the middle, and he just took off for the end zone, and nice play by Huggins on that.
And it might be a little early. I'm not sure if I would be going for the 2 this early, because you might be getting singles somewhere along the way. But if you go by the book, you're going to go by the book. You're going to try to make it. Go make it right now, and he's going to look to his left. He's going to try to throw the corner route, and this time it is intercepted.
And there's the hat trick, like Tyler Story.
I don't technically believe that it goes down as a interception because it's a dead ball play, because the clock doesn't run on a convert. So statistically, it will not go down as an interception. I do not believe. However, he could have returned that. He could have returned it, so I'm not sure how that would go.
It's not a return. You can't return a 2-point convert. I think what you alluded to is correct. It's just an incomplete. It's a failed 2-point convert. There's no stats on because you cannot return that for 2 points. In the U.S. game you can now, but not in the Canadian game. So and he intercepts that ball, and it's kind of a double whammy on that. He doesn't get the interception, and he also spikes the ball and gets the objectionable conduct penalty. And now they have to kick off from the 35-yard line as opposed to the 45. Or to the 55 instead of kicking out from their own 45. Yeah. So again, this is a great situation for London, onside kick, and try and get the ball back on a 50-50 ball.
So, I mean, they went for it. They're still down 2 scores, but now each of the next 2 you have to get 2-point converts, which is why I probably would have opted to kick it. And then if you do score another touchdown, kick it again and make it a 1-possession game.
Absolutely, I think you're correct there on that assumption.
So it does look like they have bodies lined up and overloaded. It looks like Matt Wolf is going to try a little higher one.
Looks like Levy Noel is out there as well on the front line. Is that 83 on there?
It is. So they do have their hands team, but it's Leader who's back. So they have the short moonshot, which appears to be sailing a little deeper. And this time that's handled by number 2. And that for the Fratmen is Cody St. Pierre. So their hands team does have it, and they're going to now have the ball at the 35-yard line.
You know, good execution on that, getting that ball. Limits what at worst that limits a return from the Fratmen, takes the ball out of their most dangerous players, and limits that return and gets London the chance to get a 2-0 on the ball back, kicking into the wind.
I would suspect that the Beefeaters will have a lot of men near or at the line of scrimmage to try to negate this power running game from the Fratmen. Turns the ball, hands it off to McCann, who works his way up the sideline, and he is met by a host of Beefeaters as he may have gained a half yard. And at this point in time, the Beefeaters are selling out to stop that run and commit to getting the Fratmen off the field.
Yeah, and then I think at this point in the game that they have to do that. And if they give up a shot downfield, well then they do, and it's going to force AKO to make a play. But they have to do everything they can to stop them from killing the clock with the run and getting the ball back into their hands.
So again, you got Lumley with Revenberg and McCann in the backfield. Noel is to Lumley's right. Inside run once again, and this time McCann finds a little bit of a seam. He falls forward for about a 4.5-yard gain, but that's going to bring up a third and punting situation.
Yeah, and I think if you're London here, you want to bring everybody up and try and get force a bad punt, or maybe even get a block here. You got the single returner back, so you're going to have everyone on the line of scrimmage 11 on 11 here. See if they could get a win on a one-on-one here on a block, and see if they can get a punt block here and get a quick turnaround of the football.
And you have Hakeem Johnson, who is the deep man. McCann with a good snap. Clark Green gets a real nice kickoff. Hakeem Johnson handles it at his own 30-yard line, hops around a little bit before he slips and is eventually taken down by Cannell as they are going to scrimmage 1st and 10 from their own 38-yard line.
Yeah, even though they had everybody on the line of scrimmage, it looked like instead of them going for the block, they were setting up a return. But good job by AKO getting down on that kick coverage unit and forcing a limited return by the Beefeaters. Set up a 1st and 10 just outside their 35-yard line.
Yeah, and the last defensive possession, it looked like the Fratmen had some cleaner jerseys on the field, but this one looks like the dirtied up ones are back on, so looks like their first unit is clearly back on. See if they can force the hands of these Beefeaters who have found some success on their last drive. You have Huggins looking for the snap, looks left right away, a little bit of pressure, steps up in the middle of the field, and he underthrows his intended target, but he did have Shaquille Johnson open at the 50-yard line, but it would have been a tough throw and catch.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of miscommunication between Huggins and Johnson on that. Looked like Johnson wanted to continue up the seam, and Huggins wanted him to cut that route off and find the hole in that zone coverage.
So now we're going to have a 2nd down and 10 with 8:30 and change left in this game. Huggins drops back, throws a little drag across the field to his number 1 favorite target, and that's Chuck Wall, who makes the guy miss, but then steady hand Jake Nicoletti comes in and limits it to about a 3, maybe a 2-yard gain.
Yeah, Wall almost got away on that, but good coverage by that AKO defense, and you're not going to get away from Jake Nicoletti too often.
I know what I would do here. The sideline has already indicated they're going for it. What would you do here?
No, I think you have to. You're down 16 points with 8 minutes to go in the game. You need 8 yards. You got to have your best play here, and I think you want to be able to look at Chuck Wall. They're on the trip side, and that's been their best formation.
There we go. Huggins looks to his left, throws that little bubble to, looks like Shaquille Johnson. Either way, if that was a lateral, they mishandled it. I think they may have been hoping to try maybe a hitch pass or a bubble pass. Either way, took his eyes off the ball, dropped it, incomplete. No chance at making that play if you're not focused.
Yeah, I think, he might be a little bit more explosive, but I would have tried to put the ball in the player who's having the best game and give that ball to Chuck Wall in that situation. But they tried to hit Shaquille Johnson on a quick swing and get him use his athletic ability, but you can't do that if you don't have the ball in your hands to catch the ball cleanly.
Absolutely, and despite not having the cleanest of games, the Fratmen can pretty much put this away if they can get any kind of sustained drive here and take it the 40 yards they need and find pay dirt. McCann on the inside run finds an inside seam. The ball fumbles up, and it is caught perfectly off a hop by number 20 for the Beefeaters, who's finally tripped up by Lumley, and that looks like it was Matt Wong, number 20, who recovered that. Excuse me, Carl-Andre Potier is number 20, as there's a correction on my sheet here.
Oh, exactly what London needed on that. McCann doesn't fumble often, and unfortunately in that crucial situation, that ball popped right into the London Beefeater hands, and lucky for AKO, he did not take that the distance.
Absolutely, and it was already a positive gain. I think he already had 6 or 7 yards before that ball popped up, but the Beefeaters got exactly what they needed as they're set up near midfield. Huggins looks left in the face of pressure, steps up into the pocket, but nowhere to go as the secondary does their job, and you end up having a sack, but now a flag. And are they going to call a late hit on the Fratmen here? Because that seems like the only play they can call.
Come on, ref!
Yeah, I didn't see it, and they're calling rough play against AKO, so that's going to be 15 yards and an automatic first down and puts London in prime AKO territory.
Yeah, and they go back to the line of scrimmage on that play too, so the loss of 3 yards doesn't even stand. It's a 15-yard penalty, which is going to set the Beefeaters up at the Fratmen 48-yard line.
You know, it's interesting, if they did get a gain on that, it would come from the end of the play. But if it's into the loss, it goes to the line of scrimmage.
And they try a little screen here, and that's their running back number 30, who's finally brought down after a 2-yard gain, and that's Jake Nicoletti making the tackle on John Arboledo.
I think it was a good idea, just didn't execute the play as well as they would like. But good idea trying to use the aggressiveness against the AKO front, get them coming upfield and screening behind that.
So with 6:20 remaining in this game, with the Fratmen holding on to a 2-possession lead at 26-10 here on we-tv.ca. Second down and 8, ball on the 40-yard line. Huggins takes the snap, looks left, looking for his favorite target, and that is indeed Wallen. It's broken up nicely, and that looks like that's number 54 for the Fratmen, and that is Dylan Grondin. But we have a flag on the play, and it's offsides against London, so that play will definitely be declined, and that's bring up a third down.
That's the 4th or 5th offside against a London receiver, and that's just inexcusable for a receiver to go offside. You have to be able to cognizant of where the ball is in relation to your motion and know what the snap count is. So, you know, just a plethora of mistakes today by the Beefeaters. You know, and with that being said, they're still only down 16 points.
Absolutely.
So, you know, if AKO definitely wants to win that championship next week, if they go on, they have a lot of things that they have to clean up themselves.
All right, Huggins drops back, has some pressure from Cannell, throws it over the middle, has his intended receiver, and this time it is Shaquille Johnson who comes up with the play as he moves Tyler Story to the right and threw back over the middle, and that is a big play for the Beefeaters as they now set up at what looks like the 10-yard line, and I'm not sure if they can get a first down, but it's awfully close. Either way, 1st and 10, just outside the 10. Beefeaters, lots of time on the clock. Sets, throws the fade, looks like it is tipped. We have some flags on the play. It looks like the offense was not set, but hey, so far there's been a ton of penalties. We'll see who that's
I think they might be calling offside against the defense on that play. And Huggins realized that and took a shot into the end zone, knowing that it was a penalty against AKO. And, you know, good job by Huggins being pretty football smart there, knowing a penalty was against AKO, nobody really moved, and taking a shot into the end zone.
All right, so now that's going to reset the first down, and they're even closer. 1st and 5 from just outside the 5 as Huggins goes under center and his big man's in the backfield, and they hand it off to that big man, number 34, who powers his way, and that's Stewart, who gets all the way down to, it looks like, the 2-yard line.
Come on, guys. Ball carried by Dwayne Stewart.
It's definitely 3-down territory here for London. Just not sure if they're going to be able to run the ball 3 times and get into the end zone against that stout AKO front.
So maybe catch them over aggressive, some sort of bootleg. Maybe you can get Huggins by himself. He does have some athleticism, does have some speed. He's back under center. His big man's in the backfield, turns, hands him up on a power play, and it looks like he's trying to find a hole by himself, but he's tackled and he's piled up, and that looks like that's Cannell and Grondin, and number 53 for the Fratmen, that's Adam Chin. A lot of presence there from the Fratmen force unit.
Yeah, big play here. This is, in essence, the play of the game, because if London can't get into the end zone, this game is essentially over.
All right, so we have the we-tv.ca moment of the game here. 3rd down, in essence, goal. Hands the ball off to his big man, who powers forward and does indeed knife through for a first down. Gutsy call, but no hesitation. They turn and hand the ball off. And they went for the 2 points earlier. They have to go for it now as it sits at a 10-point deficit. A 2-point convert would make it a 1-possession game. And with 3:50 left on the clock, I believe they have all their timeouts remaining. And they have the wind, which was, we discussed earlier at the beginning of the game, going to be a factor in the game. The Beefeaters have really held it together and are right in the midst of a ball game. Oh, so we have the play, and unfortunately, they do not get it. It's going to remain a 2-possession or 2-score game at 26-10 with 3:50 left on the clock. Do you try another moonshot? You try to get the ball back
Well, you
right
absolutely
away?
have to go onside kick for sure.
Absolutely.
I think we're having a little issue with the score clock, making the score quite a bit closer than it actually is. Should be 26-16 as opposed to 26-22. So the fans in the stands are a little excited here, but not to worry. The score still is 26-16.
Yes, our telestrator has that correct. That is what we're looking at. And should the Fratmen, and now the main clock is correct, should the Fratmen hold on here with 3:50 remaining in the 4th quarter of Ontario Junior Football Conference semifinal action here on we-tv.ca, we will proudly host the conference championship between the winner of this game, and if it is indeed the AKO Fratmen, here on November 1st at 1 o'clock against either Ottawa or Hamilton. And Matt Wolf looks like he's set once again. The Fratmen have their hands team on. He's going to kick it towards his bench. A little dribbler, and it looks like it takes a favorable bounce, but they don't fall on it. Finally, a Fratman falls on it, and that's number 7 for the Fratmen, and that is Demetrius Kaw, who falls on it.
Yeah, instead of falling on it, he actually reached for the ball and is falling backwards instead of trying to cradle that ball into his body. And they're a little bit lucky there for AKO to get control that football. And a nice job by London on that little deception on that onside kick.
So the Fratmen avoid disaster there. Lumley under center. He has Revenberg leaves early. McCann is the running back, finds a seam but slips as he knifes forward for a sliding 3.5-yard gain.
Yeah, big play here on for London. They need to stop this play, try and force a. Looks like this will be the last play before the 3-minute warning. So big play here on London for the London defense. If they want any chance of getting back into this game and closing this one out on their end, they need to make a stop here.
The Fratmen have to hurry up here before they get a time count penalty. As it's winding down to the final 3 minutes, Lumley in the shotgun, inside handoff to McCann, who's just piled up. They brought extra defenders. They don't have a free safety on the field, and you expect them to just try to take everything away and get as many hats on the ball. So, like you said, that is the final play before the 3-minute warning, and the Fratmen are going to now have to play defense again after this special teams effort. With 2:50 remaining in this game, 2:52 home Windsor AKO Fratmen leading 26-16.
Now again, do you go for the block here? You get everybody up and try and force it, maybe a bad snap, block this kick, and again, they got a really deep punt returner. He should step up at least 10 more yards on this play.
That's Hakeem Johnson again, and I mean, he's going to get good field position either way as long as he moves up and handles it cleanly. The Fratmen calling out plays. The snap is good. Clark gets it just out of the outstretched hands of the blocker, and Johnson gets it, and he handles it cleanly, and that is a no yards penalty, as he looks like he's going to get the benefit of 15 extra yards because of that. And we have another flag here, and this looks like it is going against the Beefeaters, so maybe it's going to turn out to be a 5-yard difference. 15 on the
no yards,
and 10 on the objectionable conduct. So we'll see how that plays out. But either way, the Beefeaters are going to have the ball. 10 points down, 2.5 minutes pretty much left in this game, and pretty much a surprise to everybody the way this conference and this league has gone. The Fratmen have rolled through, probably averaging wins by well over 30 points. They've been steamrolling this league this year.
Yeah, and again, they've talked about it at halftime, the coaches. You know, they've seen each other 9 times in the last 3 years, so maybe it's not to be discounted that this game is as tight as it is. But in my opinion, it being this tight, even still with London making all the mistakes they did in this game, is you know, if AKO wants to win this game next week, if they come out with a win here and win the OFC championship, they have to play better. It's you know, they've done just enough to win this game, but that's not going in a championship game. If you can't do just enough, you have to be at your top.
Absolutely, and as the referees look like they're discussing this, we have a necessary roughness against the Beefeaters, and a no yards against the Fratmen, which negate each other. 15 yards forward, 15 yards back. You end up with a 1st and 10 situation. 2:20 officially remaining on the game clock. 26-16. The Beefeaters, I believe, have both their timeouts. 35-yard, their own 35-yard line, and the win. Here we go. Huggins looks, some pressure brought. Flag on the play, throws the ball, and it is almost intercepted as number 21, Javier Buckley, drops what was an interception. And we'll see, is this another offsides or alignment issue? And it is another receiver. You've already said this, 4, 5, 6. At this point in time, they are absolutely unexcusable mistakes.
Absolutely, and you know, even though that play doesn't cost them anything because it's an incomplete pass, but you just cannot go offside as a receiver. I mean, that's just inexcusable, and that's just not being focused in understanding what's going on in the game.
All right, 2nd down and 10, 2:14 remaining. A little bit of pressure, and he is buried by Devontae Pierce. Huggins did not have a chance to even set his feet as he gets hammered by number 19. And he might be hurt on that play because his arm was up and he landed squarely on his shoulder, but good on him. He got up right away, and that's going to bring up a 3rd down, and they're going to need some help as now the Beefeaters have to call a timeout to check on their quarterback and get maybe the right call in, because obviously the game is here on this play pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely. Great play by Devontae Pierce. What a great athlete out on the edge and making his presence felt in this game, and one of the biggest spots of the game, making a big sack on 2nd and 10, bringing up a 3rd down and extremely long for London, and basically it turns out to be 3rd in the game.
If we haven't seen it time and time again, if there's one certainty that usually comes out at some point in time, the defense makes a play, and the defense goes out and makes a play. This time it was the defensive end who got some pressure, hits the quarterback. Now it looks like Coach Annan wanted another conference. He's probably asking, like, was it unnecessary roughness? Did it get into the head of my quarterback? Aren't they protected players? But that looked like a clean hit all around from our end.
Yeah, I don't think there was any issue on that play at all. Maybe what he's asking about previously on that punt return, what the call was, and you know, sometimes coaches can't let things go, and you know, and instead of focusing on the next play, they're worried about what's happened in the past, and that can't be fixed. It's already gone, and you have to move forward. And you've got a player. You're still in this game if you make a play. So concentrate on what's going to happen, not what has happened.
Yeah, now I'm going to make a mild prediction. He's had a quiet afternoon, but he's been pretty special his entire Fratmen career. That's Richard Veenstra, number 15. We haven't really called his name at all. I suspect at this point here, I wouldn't be surprised if he's the one who makes the final blow and sets the tone on defense for them.
And it'd be nice. He's coming off that ACL reconstruction from last season, and it's just very good to see him back out on the field for AKO.
Here we go, 2:09, 3rd down and long. Huggins looks, throws the ball up to his left, looking for his intended receiver, and it looks like it is indeed picked off, and it looks like it is Story once again. And what do you say? You got a big, tall athlete. Maybe he should have knocked it down. They have the ball on the other end. But the kid's a playmaker. He's been doing it all year.
Well, if you didn't want to give him his hat trick on that 2-point convert that he intercepted, then he definitely wanted to make up for it, and he got it there. So great job by Tyler Story on there, going up and getting that ball for his third or fourth interception, however you want to look at it.
Honestly, I genuinely believe the Fratmen defense has more interceptions, including that convert try, than their receivers have receptions. The way the balance of the game is gone. So we got Lumley under center. Looks like it's Donkers deep. McCann's the fullback. They try a jet sweep, and it's Leader who fumbles the ball, and he's fortunate to have the ball still.
Yeah, you got to understand the situation of the game. Don't try and pick that ball up and run with it. You should just fall on the ball, live to play another down. It's that's the worst thing that could have happened. You try to reach that ball, the ball pops up into a London Beefeater hand, and he returns it for a touchdown. And just like that, they're within 3 points. So you got to be able to understand situational football and take care of your own business.
Yeah, and quite frankly, here's where I be critical of Coach LaChance. I'm surprised he called that jet sweep in that case scenario. Hand the ball off to McCann, hand the ball off to Donkers, hand the ball off to Revenberg, hand the ball off to the ball carriers. Let them get this here on the backs of your offensive line going forward. They run a little counter tray boot action, and Austin always has a two-way go of it. He can hold on to it and keep it. He seems inexplicably to dive out of bounds.
Whoa, 55 is throwing punches.
Throwing of punches by number 55 of the Beefeaters, and he needs to be thrown out of the game.
I'm sure he will be, but you know,
and that is absolutely embarrassing to the game. You know, at the end of the game, they played a tough battle, but you can't go and do that. And that's number 55, Matt Long, who just started throwing punches. And now you got the benches who are on the same sideline, and people are just sort of pushing forward here or there. And that is just unacceptable. The guys, you know, you played hard all game long, and then you go and do this. And I know that the Fratmen now have, somebody's throwing their helmet. Fratmen take their helmet on. That's Adam Abasafea, who he was the one who was getting barreled underneath that pile. But he's angry.
Yeah. And I mean,
he has to act
for sure. Like, he's not going to get hurt. He's punching him in the helmet. He's got a football helmet on, and 55 is on top of him, punching him. Granted, you know, but he's not going to get hurt. What's going to hurt is 55's hand. It's an embarrassing play by the London Beefeaters. I'm sure their coaches are pretty upset with their own players. You know, good chance that's probably the last game that young man's going to play, and unfortunately, he has to go out that way.
While the officials sort out the differences, I'd just like to say
at this point in time, with 1:30 left in the game, this is likely going to give the Fratmen a first down, because the ejection is going to give him 25 yards here. He's angry. I don't know if he's going to get ejected, but if he's not careful, Adam's going to not play in the conference final. He has to calm himself down. Because I do not believe was going to be ejected. No. He was going to get the benefit of the London player getting ejected, and he's being escorted out. I'm just hoping this is on the coach's decision.
I think that's exactly right. He did it on the ground. He did everything right. He was protecting himself. He wasn't retaliating, and 55 was punching him as he was on the ground. But as he got up and the play is over, that's when emotions start to boil over. And he's got to understand the situation of the game. Nothing he can do is going to take back what happened in that game, and you have to look forward to. You're going to play in a championship game next week. Don't do something stupid that's going to take you out of that game.
So I know there are two flags on the play. Clearly, you have the ejection that's inevitable. There were clear-cut, unquestionably several punches thrown. You're going to get an objectionable conduct for Adam taking his helmet off. You're probably going to see a 15-yard walk-off and a first down for the Fratmen.
I think you're going to see an ejection comes with a 45-yard penalty. So it just depends on if there's any additional penalties against AKO on that.
And my guess is you're going to have the referees calling the game right now.
There's a good chance of that.
I would not be surprised if they just said, guys, shake hands right now. We're going to give them a first down, but we'll see what the indication is.
I can't believe they're going to make this third down.
I can't believe, like, what is the calls here? How is this not a first down? There has to be an ejection. You cannot tell me both players got ejected here.
Even still, if it's both players, the first ejection would have been against London, and that would have been an automatic first down because of the penalty. And what happens after that?
Everything was dead.
That's correct. So I think this is a total miscalculation of how these penalties should be applied.
They are not walking anything off.
Wow.
Which means they did not eject a person. There's been no.
Unless they ejected both players and they sawed everything off. I mean, we haven't even seen any explanation from the officials of what that play was.
That is so penal to the Fratmen right now.
Wow.
Because they're the ones who are definitely going to suffer the greater loss having a game next week with 1:30 left here, and they have to bring their punt team on. I am puzzled. I can't explain this. You can't seem to explain this. I'm going to have to get clarification as to what happened. But either way, the resumption of the game, Fratmen are going to let 20 seconds fall off this here. We get a snap. Green gets it in his hands. He gets a pretty good kickoff as it carries into the wind, takes a favorable bounce. Hakeem Johnson handles the ball, dances around, trying to go up the left sideline, picks up maybe 6 or 7 yards before he's tackled. And now you have about a minute left in this game. Down 10. The Beefeaters have to go the length of the field to score, and they have to get 2 scores still. Joe, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I hate to be critical of the officials and whatever their calls were, their calls are, but you have to be able to give a signal to the rest of the fans here, to us as a viewing audience, to understand what happened in that situation. But just to continue to go on in the game and just make a third down without any explanation it's unexcusable from the officials. Everyone deserves to be able to understand what happened in that sequence of plays.
Yeah, and did 55 get escorted off the field? Because if he did get ejected and they were offsetting ejections, he should not be on the field. And I did not see anyone leave from the London sideline. So we have a draw here. And that's Stewart who's going to carry the ball forward for about 7 yards as we get just under a minute in this game remaining.
Dwayne Stewart with the carry for a gain of 7.
Puzzling to say the least. But with under a minute left, it looks like it's safe to call right now that the Windsor AKO Fratmen are going to host the conference championship next Sunday, 1 p.m. Hosted here live on WeTV. And we will have, and
again,
now we have a late play.
24, that's just, I don't understand.
I
Lake Champ taking a shot out of bounds, and that plays like that is what escalate eight plays, and
yeah, that was Mike Champ, I believe, for the Fratmen. That's just wrong. And again, that's something that can get you ejected out of it, especially in the moment of the game. They're going to say clearly unnecessarily, clearly targeting. They're walking him up forward. So there is 55 on the sideline. If he wasn't ejected, I don't know what validates an ejection. That is poor. He should not be on that sideline. He clearly threw punches. He might get into something after the game, and he should not be anywhere near the field as Huggins throws the ball to his receiver, who's tackled inbounds, and that is David Inkumsa, who makes the tackle. And like I was saying, with 30 seconds left, the Fratmen are going to host the conference championship next week, 1 o'clock against either Ottawa or Hamilton here at La Jeunesse, and the coverage will be provided by we-tv.ca. November 1st, 1 p.m. as Huggins throws quick hitch once again, looking for his big receiver, number 84. That falls incomplete.
Intended receiver, Chuck Wall.
And for all fans who want to just double check, you can go to the We-TV website, and all information related to the game will be posted there. You can probably also get some of the press coverage leading up to this week's game at we-tv.ca. And here we go. Huggins under center, hands the ball off to his fullback, who powers forward on third down for what amounts to a first down. And with 23 seconds left in the game, and now we have some issues going on here. Some of the coaches on the Fratmen have gotten on the field, but
looks like Gaddam has come off out of the bench. He's come off out of the end zone.
Huggins looking to throw the ball over the top. We have an incompletion here, and with 15, 16 seconds left in the game, 10-point lead.
Johnson, passing
we have a flag now. Somebody said something to the referee again. This is just getting poor.
Yeah, it's a very sloppy game, and
it's unfortunate because it was a pretty closely contested game for the most part. No one would have guessed that it was going to be a 26-16 final. And if London Heaves went in there and makes it even closer, so be it. But the reality of this situation is, like, it just is being marred right now by out of control. Both teams are partly responsible to that, but it seems like the referees have let this one slip a little bit through their fingertips.
And the thing is, if you're Hamilton or Ottawa, and you look at the box score of this game, you're going to see 8 interceptions, you're going to see a couple fumbles, all these penalties against London, and Icky only came away with a 26-16 victory at this. So that's going to give them a lot of confidence to come in here for this championship game for next week.
And it's, I can't explain. I'm watching the play on the field, and you got the biggest player on the field standing on top of Anthony McDonald right now, taunting him. And Anthony knows better not to do anything, but we're going to have the last play of the game here. And let's just hope nothing stupid happens and there's no escalation, because this is a great game, this is a great sport, but we don't need anything dumb to happen. As Huggins throws one over the middle of the field, we have some pushing going on, and that should end the game. And the home Fratmen have advanced to their third, to try to gain their third conference championship with a final score of 26-16. And as you see it on our telestrator, we TV proudly presented the Ontario Football Conference semi-final game with the home Fratmen winning 26-16. And we will be hosting the conference final next week at 1 p.m. on Sunday, November 1st, 2015. And the Fratmen will indeed host the winner of the Ottawa-Hamilton game in the second OFC Conference semifinal.
You know, just to kind of put a capper on this game, I just want to congratulate number 26 Chuck Wall of the London Beefeaters on an outstanding game today. He was definitely the heart and soul of that Beefeaters team that kept this London team in this game as long as they were. And then as far as AKO goes, Tyler Story wrote his own story today as getting his 4 interceptions, and I believe we're going to get an interview from him, from Dominic, at the end of this game, as he's been selected as player of the game today for AKO.
Yeah, there's no question about that, and I will add one other thing to Chuck Wall. I did see that at the end of the game when it looked like Anthony was being taunted, it was him who came up to him, pulled him off the ground, and said something, congratulations. So as we wrap up our coverage here, we're going to send this down to field level, and we're going to eventually get Dominic with the players of the game, and we're going to send it to commercial. Thanks for your tuning in.
First kiss. She's thinking about a million things, like, should I lean in or let him? Do I close my eyes or open them? But for him, he's only thinking about one thing. Did she have peanut butter for lunch?
In Canada, more than 13 million volunteers contribute over 2 billion hours every year. Volunteers support us in everything we do, and communities thrive because of it. At Volunteer Canada, we encourage and strengthen community involvement. We work with a broad range of partners to promote and support our shared vision of a vibrant Canada. To learn more, visit thenewvolunteer.ca, your connection to Canada's volunteering community.
Rachel, I never realized that your mother suffered from lupus.
Yeah, it is a chronic disease, and I've seen my mom go through long-term remissions, and then I've seen her almost die. So I really hope they can find a cure so other people don't have to go through this.
There are more than 50,000 Canadians living with lupus, and this number increases each year. To learn more about lupus and how you can help, go to lupuscanada.org.
Welcome back to Lajeunesse Field. A very exciting OFC semifinal game between the AKO Fratmen and the London Beefeaters. Joining me on the post-game report, our play-by-play team, Badia Quas, Joe Maneric. First, Badia, what do you make of what happened towards the end of the game here? It's unfortunate. I know you called it right. Listening to your call, you don't like to see anything like this, especially in a game. This was a very hard contested game.
Yeah, and it appears it's going to be extremely costly to the Fratmen, because if they did indeed get a player ejected, that player can't play in the conference championship. No one would have thought the game was going to be decided by 10 points at 26-16 the way the season went. It was maybe a sloppy game, but it was a well-contested game up until the last few plays, where you end up getting some hotheads and some absolutely unnecessary plays like the punching that happened at the end of the game.
All right. Joe, but he just mentioned the contested game. I was really impressed at how tough London played this team today.
Well, absolutely, and we talked about it in the broadcast center. If you're in Hamilton or you're Ottawa and you look at this box score and you see 8 interceptions for London, you see the turnovers and you see the amount of penalties, and the score was only 26-16, that's got to give them a lot of confidence coming into here. So AKO's got some things that they got to work on this week.
Yeah, you lead me right into my next question, guys, and I'll let you both comment and let you get out of here. Heading into that game, that championship game, this is not one of their better outings this year. Coach LaChance is really going to have to put the guys to work this week and change up some things, or certainly sharpen up some things.
Absolutely. They needed this type of game getting themselves ready for next week. They brought them down to earth just a little bit. They're going to know they're going to have to go out and work. I will be surprised if they don't have a great work week next week, and I will be surprised if that doesn't translate into a better effort next week.
What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes those are good things for you, right? You come out with a win, and you got a lot of things that you can coach up during the week, so that you're not infallible and you're susceptible to things if you don't work hard and do the right things.
All right, you guys did a great job. You guys were stars today for sure. Appreciate. Like a dime a dozen for you with this team. 4 more today. You had 3 in one game earlier this year. Are you just reading them or what?
I think we have a good connection. No, I don't know. I just know that he wants to go deep a lot of the time because they have big time receivers, and they at the end of the game there with like 2 minutes left, coach tells me to spy on 26 because that's one of his quarterback's favorite receivers. Sure enough, he tries to throw it up there, and I just beat him to the ball.
This game was a pretty tough game, Tyler. I know AKO came into this as heavy favorites. You really had an outstanding regular season. What changed in this game that made it that much tougher?
Well, I just think that practice-wise, we need to get back more into what we do. It's harder now because guys work and like sun goes down very quickly. So we have to try to get in maybe I think earlier this upcoming week and prepare for the championship. But they just came in and fought hard today. They really did, and we weren't expecting that right off the bat. They got a good kick return, and I think that we got a little flustered, but then as the game went down, we calmed down and we focused like we usually do.
Fair to say this was a little bit of an eye-opener for the guys?
Yeah, exactly, definitely. We had guys misreading, not paying attention on the sidelines, and next week we can't do things like that, or we possibly get beat. So we know now that we can't play around anymore. We need to be tough, and we need to practice and focus.
All right, congrats on the game, Tyler. I'll let you get in the room. Keep it up, okay? Of course, Tyler Story, our player of the game. Let's get the head coach, Mike LaChance, in here to wrap things up. I know you got the win, Coach, but I'm guessing, having covered you for a lot of years, probably not too overwhelmed with this.
No, we didn't play very well. We played down to the level of the competition. They played a chippy, borderline dirty game the whole game, and we got pulled into it at the end. And they got guys throwing punches and getting guys kicked out of the game. It's not the way it should be played. The refs lost control of it. It was embarrassing all the way around, and I'm embarrassed. We'll fix what we have to fix, but hopefully we get a better crew next week.
Where did this game, I guess, start evolving? Was it right from the get-go, Coach LaChance, that you knew this was going to be a game full of maybe those dirty tactics? And was it a tougher game mentally to play?
No, I think London's played like that for a long time. I mean, it's a product of what they do. It's not every kid on the team, but they have a lot of guys who play like that. I don't know if they coach it or whatever, but it's defensive lineman chopping your left tackle repeatedly. It's plays on, it's not so much late hits or anything. It's just weird things that I would never coach in football that they do. And you know what? They pulled us into their game, and it's unfortunate that my guys sunk to that level, but they did, and we'll hopefully learn from it. We haven't had any adversity all year. This was the closest game we've had, and we didn't react particularly well. So
yeah, and you lead me right into my next question there, Coach. The guys, how they reacted. You want to see your guys maybe somehow just let that get by them and focus on what they got to do. Will that be, obviously you're going to address it, I'm sure, in practice week leading up to the championship here?
Yeah, we'll address it. I mean, hopefully we'll have a good week of practice, and we'll talk about what happened today, particularly in the fourth quarter. We were going away with a pretty easy victory there, and we could let it slip away. Offensively, we didn't move the ball very well. Uncharacteristically, Cody McCann fumbled on a big possession. If we get the first down there, the game's probably over. There was a few untimely penalties, but I mean, they go both ways. Generally speaking, that equals out in the game, but the silliness has to be called. The original thing has to be called. If the refs jump in after first punch, nothing else happens. There's no melee that takes place. If they call the shove to the ground or the little things early, they take care of themselves late. I don't think we did a great job of that today here. And then some of my guys let it kind of get to them. And you know, we got to be better than that. No matter what, we have to be better than that.
With all that said, Coach, you got another crack at another championship, but you got a chance to three-peat here. That's the goal. I mean, getting there, however you get there, doesn't matter at this point. You're there. What will the preparation be like this week? What will be the focus there?
Well, we're not going to change who we are. We're a power I football team. We're going to run the football with a steady dose of McCann, Donkers, and Revenberg. We got a big offensive line. Might be a little smaller now without Adam. We're going to appeal it, but he got kicked out, so our left tackle's out for the championship game unless we win the appeal. But we're going to run the football and play hard defense. Today our defense played really well until the end, gave up a few big ones, but we got to get back on the drawing board and just do our thing. We're going to play a better team next week than this one. Ottawa and Hamilton are both significantly more talented than this team, and they'll be prepared to play. So.
All right. Well, congrats on this one, Coach. We'll hopefully get to talk about a championship next week, but job well done up to this point.
Well, you know what? It's tough, and I told our guys it's tough to beat a good team 3 times. We had to beat London 3 times. As good as we were last year, we didn't beat anybody 3 times. We lost the regular season game to Hamilton and London, and then had to play those 2 teams in the playoffs. If we play Hamilton next week, it'll be 3 times again. So it's a tough thing to do, to game plan and effectively execute against the team 3 times in a season. It's tough, but we're up for the challenge.
OFC's a tough league, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Coach, congrats, and enjoy this one for a bit, and we'll talk next week, I'm sure.
Thanks, buddy.
Head coach Mike Lachance doing a great job with his club. He's got them into another OFC title game. Speaking of that game, next Sunday, November 1st, 1 o'clock will be kickoff right here at La Jeunesse Field. Come on down to the field, but if you can't make it, we'll have you covered. We-tv.ca will be here bringing you all the action live, but we hope to pack the field here, get a good AKO crowd helping out the guys, and hopefully another OFC title game. So once again, the final score here this afternoon, the Windsor AKO Fratmen 26, London Beefeaters 16. On behalf of everybody here at WeTV, this is Dominic Papa wishing you a great night. Take care, everybody. We'll see you all again very soon.